Chapter 558. Supernatural Security Team That Doesn't Follow the Script. Tonight is your first mission. Sienna tossed a few pictures before the supernatural security team. This house is constructed at the edge of a lake. Later, you have to enter the house with your own abilities. Captain, Sub-Captain, won't you come with us? A chubby woman asked. Ashando had been an office worker. She was also the first to get fired when they had to let people go. She was willing to do anything for money. She could go up against evil spirits alone with a taser. She wasn't a spiritualist, but she had a shockingly strong will. In the possession training, she was the only one to get full marks. This haunted house is only average. If you can't even break into an average haunted house, it's best for you to give up on this job. Fuck, it's not like we haven't seen evil spirits yet. What you afraid of? Another member, Bart Anthony, stood up. He was a former drug addict. He looked for anything that could stimulate his nerves, such as going up against supernatural forces. Even though he was usually just getting beaten instead of fighting. The team also had Todd Cyrus, a weapons expert. He specialized in modifying weapons to fight evil spirits. Apparently, he was also an illegal arms trader. But usually, he just smoked while producing weapons for other weapons. He caused many accidental explosions. There was a skinny Rudolph David, someone who fantasized about saving the world. There was also a mean-looking bodybuilder, Gibson Tatas. These were all of the members of the supernatural security team. Todd, give me more evil spirit bombs, Bart called. The stronger the better. We have a limited budget. Unless you pay me. Todd was stingy. Even though he often had safety issues in his workshop, he was very precise with his spending. I need a bulletproof vest, Gibson said. He was the biggest guy but also had the smallest guts. Fuck. We're facing evil spirits, not terrorists. What the fuck would a bulletproof vest do? What's our mission? How much is the pay? Ashando asked. This is part of your training, Sienna said. No pay. Your mission is to enter the house. The difficulty level. Hell, Chris said. If you can succeed, then you won't be threatened by 99% of all supernatural activities. Hell. Everyone grew fearful. The training that Sienna and Chris prepared were usually easy, simple, and ordinary. But today they had to face something like hell. Captain, isn't the jump in difficulty too much? Gibson stared at Sienna in fear. Gibson, you're embarrassing. None of us are afraid. Why is a big guy like you afraid? Rudolph was a hot-blooded youth. One day the world will need us. Courage and how big you are isn't related, Gibson said. Okay. Whether you're willing or not, this mission will happen. Oh. Phalai, prepare more dinner tonight. Sienna and Chris are coming over. Sure. Why are they coming tonight? The people who hired them formed a supernatural security team. Sienna wants me to train the team. Okay, God help them. In the evening, Sienna and Chris arrived. Chen, I can feel that the air is filled with elemental spirit. It's so soothing. In Asia, it was called spiritual qi. In the West, it was elemental spirit. It was like how Asians called the qi you cultivated spiritual power, while the West called it magic. They were actually the same stuff. Maybe because it's a good environment, Chan Zhao said indifferently. No, it's too heavy here. It can't be natural. I didn't feel it when I came last time either. See the big tree in the back? Might be related to it, Chan Zhao replied casually. Really? What's special about the tree? It's alive. Alive? What do you mean? Its name is Eugenus, Chan Zhao said. Forest shepherd. Sienna was a spiritualist, so she could accept these things. Even though Sienna had interacted with too many strange powers, she was still shocked at a tree that could walk and talk. However, all illogical things became logical when she remembered that this was Chan Zhao's house. I think your team has arrived, Chan Zhao said. Oh, already? What's the possibility of them successfully getting over here? Chris asked. Probably zero, Chan Zhao said. My plan is to send them to the hospital. Oh, should be over there, right? Ashando and the others arrived at Mirror Lake. They looked at the house in the distance. They were 3 kilometers away and it was night, so they couldn't see it clearly. It doesn't look like a haunted house, Gibson said. Did Captain get it wrong? How about we leave first? If it's a regular person's house and we break in, it'll be illegal. We're already here. There's no reason for us to leave. Then how do we get over there? Swim. Are you an idiot? The lake is probably 3 or 4 kilometers wide. Other than the scaredy cat Gibson, who has the strength to swim over? Then what do we do? Go through the forest. The 5 stood at the edge of the forest. The eerie forest had an uncomfortable feeling. Just then they saw a wooden sign hanging on an outer tree. No fire allowed. What does this mean? Did evil spirits hang it here? Are they afraid of fire here? How about we set a fire? Everyone exchanged awkward glances. Set a fire, Ashando said. Just do it. Are you sure? Gibson asked in worry. Will we get reported for being pyromaniacs? Coward, I'll do it. Todd grabbed a pile of wood and ignited it. The fire flared quickly. An entire tree started burning. The people who were eating a barbecue in the house's front yard saw the fire in the distance. Fuck, your guys are setting a fire. Chunzhao yelled. Do they want to burn my forest? Huh, what should we do now? I'm gonna kill them. Oh. Chapter 559 Hell. Huh, Captain's calling. Why would she call us now? Ashando picked up the call. Hey, Captain. Idiots, what are you doing? Quickly extinguish the fire. What? Do you know that we've set the place on fire? Does Captain want us to extinguish the fire? But the fire is pretty big. Don't think we can kill it. If you can't extinguish the fire, you can wait to die. Sienna was speechless. What did Captain say? She asked us to die. Don't worry. It's just training. We won't actually die, Bart said. Suddenly, they heard some noises from the forest. Then the air turned cold. Look, the sky. The sky was suddenly covered by dark clouds. The region affected was neither big nor small, perhaps about a few dozen meters wide. Just then, hailstones fell from the sky into the forest. Oh, it hurts. Everyone lay on the ground and covered their heads with their bags to block the hailstones. Very soon the fire diminished. The hailstorm also stopped. Damn, where did the hailstorm come from? I don't think there's been any hailstorm in LA for dozens of years. Wait, I think something's moving in the forest. Everyone lifted their heads and looked into the darkness of the forest. Something seemed to be charging out from the gloomy depth. Suddenly, a strange flying creature appeared and glided toward them. What? What's that? Bam bam. Boom. They immediately fired their weapons. The gargoyle was shattered and fell onto the ground. What is this? Everyone walked up to inspect the fragments. Look at these fragments. I think they're coming together. It's not dead. Shoot it. Being blunt, Ashando shot the gargoyle's head at once. Crash. The gargoyle's head burst into pieces, but it began to heal again. Can't kill it. What's this? An undead evil spirit? Not an evil spirit, but definitely a supernatural creature. There's more. Look at the forest. The next instant, more than a dozen gargoyles charged out from the forest. Ah, help! The sudden appearance of the gargoyles caught the party off guard. The gargoyles carried everyone into the air. Everyone paled in fright. Then, they were thrown into the adjacent lake from a few or a dozen meters of height. Splash, splash. The 5 resurfaced one after another, swimming toward the shore in panic. However, 9 snake heads suddenly appeared before them. All of them were unbelievably large. The 9 heads rose from the water and blocked their path. Any of the heads were big enough to swallow them whole. Ashando and the rest were aghast. Stop! Change direction. As they changed direction, they saw a more terrifying scene. There was an enormous beast on shore, waiting for them to approach. It was an evil dog with 3 heads. The hellhound. But this was not the scariest part. Behind the hellhound, many skeletons arose from the soil one by one. Evil light was flashing in their eyes. There were too many skeletons. Some of them were holding swords while others held bones. The group shivered uncontrollably. They felt like they had broken into hell. What? What do we do? Can't go to the shore. Swim toward the mansion. Quick. But it's far. We have no choice. Go. The 5 could only swim toward the villa. However, suddenly, another arc grew from the water before them. Something's in the lake. Just then one of them was sent into the air. Screaming, he fell back into the water, completely dazed. And then went the second, and then the third, the fourth, and the fifth. They felt like they were really going to die here. They would be killed by the endless chain of monsters. However, just as they became certain that they were going to die here, the gargoyles appeared again and lifted them into the air. They flew to the mansion and threw the party into the water. The group saw a few people ashore. Among them were Sienna and Chris. Captain. Vice Captain. Help. Sienna stared at the 5 in anger. Come here now. The 5 climbed out of the lake trembling. They all stood before Sienna. I asked you to complete the training and you actually set the place on fire? Are you tired of being alive? Captain. Fire is a valid method, right? Ashando mumbled. If you still think this way, you'll actually die here. Sienna roared in frustration. Chunzhao walked up. Do you know that you've destroyed my private property with the fire? Are you the owner here? I'm not only the owner here, but also the owner of all the things you saw just now. Everyone looked at Chunzhao in fear. They knew how horrifying the things they had seen were. I'll give y'all 3 choices now. Compensate my loss. For every tree you burned, plant 10 more. Second choice, spend 3 years in jail. How about the last one? I kill you and use you as fertilizers. The first one. We choose the first one. Sienna looked at Chunzhao. Chun, I'm very sorry for the trouble they've caused. Nah, it's fine. Chunzhao shrugged. It's not a big mistake. Then he glanced at the 5. If they really burned my entire forest, I'll draw their souls and torture them for eternity. The party paled. They were sure that the Asian before them would absolutely do it if needed. In the end, Sienna and Chris left with their men. On the vehicle, the 5 people were squeezed in the small rear compartment. You better be ready to plant trees for Chun tomorrow. Or I can't promise what kind of revenge you'll receive. Don't attempt to run away. Trust me, Chun will find you. By then nobody can save you. Captain Vice Captain is Mr. Chun more powerful than the 2 of you? Not long ago, a terrifying organization in New York was destroyed. The organization comprised of hundreds of evil spirits, and their leader was called the Grandfather, someone that none of the witches in New York could defeat. Then the Grandfather met Chen. And then, the group swallowed their saliva. Then the Evil Spirit Society, which had troubled New York's witch society for 200 years, was eliminated. Chapter 560. Changes brought by spiritual qi. You scared them. Fei Lai looked at Chunzhao. They deserved it. Next time someone sets a fire here, who can I blame? Next day, Ashando and the others came obediently to plant trees. They slipped away after finishing and didn't say anything to Chunzhao. Chunzhao entered the river map whenever he was free. Mortal, you're here? Come play around with me. Old Turtle grabbed Chunzhao to play a game. Chunzhao was bored, so he decided to play. He'd come in to relax anyway. But soon he regretted it. He played for 3 days and nights. Old Turtle didn't take a break at all. Chunzhao came to relax, but then it turned into torture. It was too painful. Stop annoying me. I need a break. Chunzhao was about to break down. No, we only played for a short while. Old Turtle latched onto Chunzhao. Should I transform myself when playing? Which Hollywood celebrity do you like? Should I turn into Scarlett? Or Nicole? Or Jessica? Chunzhao broke free from Old Turtle's grip. Learn the parts under your head and then talk to me. Also, next time you turn into a woman, can you get rid of your beard too? Aren't you afraid they'll sue you? Then you take a nap first. Play with me after you wake up. Chunzhao rolled his eyes. To hell with playing games. In order to sleep well, Chunzhao even put a bed in here. He could sleep while enjoying the nurturement from the mountains. The river map was rich with spiritual qi. He felt completely energized after a nap. Seeing Chen Zhao wake up, Old Turtle grabbed him immediately. "Mortal, let's continue playing." "Play your ass. I need to cultivate." Cultivating isn't fun at all. For a million-year-old monster, there was nothing more boring than cultivation. Chen Zhao ignored him. "How about you give me some pointers? I don't know anything about human cultivation. How can I teach you? Should I teach you how to cultivate into a monster? Go play your game." This old monster didn't have the awareness to act like a grandfather. "Old Turtle, how about I give you some novels and you see how to act like a grandfather?" "Sure, sure." Old Turtle wouldn't reject any forms of entertainment. When he exited the river map, the inferior demons had already prepared lunch. Carrie jumped onto the table. Chen Zhao looked at her size. "Carrie, you seem to have gotten much bigger." When Carrie had just been summoned, she was the size of a puppy. Now she was like a small Samoyed. "There's too much spiritual chi here," Carrie said. "My power is getting nurtured." Raymond seems to have grown a lot too, but Beelzebub hasn't grown. Chen Zhao glanced at Beelzebub. He hadn't changed at all. As Chen Zhao's first demon subordinate, he still looked as he'd looked originally. "My appetite got bigger," Beelzebub said proudly. "Human, wait, no master, I haven't changed either," Samuel said. "Why didn't you change?" "Because I'm strong enough inside," Samuel said proudly. "The change in spiritual chi doesn't affect me much." Chen Zhao didn't know what there was to be proud of. But the one who changed the most was Little Nine. Its size was a bit uncontrollable now. It seemed that it could grow as much as it ate every day. For now, Little Nine's size was still acceptable. The three hellhounds didn't change at all. They looked like how they did originally. They were artificial demons. Blackie was their creator. Thus they were already set and had no chance of growing anymore. As for Princess and Walter, they were still growing, but they'd slowed down a lot. For example, after shooting to 750 kilograms, Princess only gained around 25 kilograms in the past half-month. Chen Zhao estimated that her weight was close to the limit now. Abitos was also part of the rapidly growing group. He was now 4.5 meters long. He was twice the weight of Komodo dragons and entirely red. Abitos was the most likely one to be heavier than Princess. As for Black Ma and White Ma, they were in their true bodies, so they didn't grow too much. Even they couldn't tell if their abilities had improved either, let alone Chen Zhao. Of course, Amon was the one who'd grown the fastest. He was truly a huge creature and was now more than 50 meters. Chen Zhao didn't know where his limit was or how heavy he was now. The smallest changes were probably the four small ones: Briar, Bramble, Simba, and Nana. They were regular animals and didn't do anything other than messing around all day. They were practically models for annoying kids. Of course, they didn't have their kryptonite either. Faith, Vera, and Manny were their kryptonite. Whenever these three demon lords came, the house would fall into chaos. "Master, I can summon 30% of my original strength in this area." Raymond slithered to Chen Zhao. Chen Zhao had seen his terrifying true form before. If Raymond could summon his true form, he'd definitely be more horrifying than anything Chen Zhao had run into. Both Evangeline and the grandfather would be a morsel for Raymond. "Can this spiritual chi area raise your abilities?" Chen Zhao asked curiously. "It won't raise it," Samuel said. "It'll just raise how much our projection can take. It's like a basin of water. How much water it has determines how big of a fish you can put in it. So it doesn't affect your actual abilities. It'll only affect Black Ma and White Ma. They're their true forms, so they can be affected directly. But it doesn't look like they've changed." "Their outer appearance won't change much," Samuel said. "But they've at least gotten 50% stronger. This is good. When they're strong enough, they'll be good help to conquer the world for me." "Okay, good luck. I'm rooting for you." "So you support me conquering the world?" "Of course." Chen Zhao nodded. "Give me $100. "For what?" "Event funding. You know, a legit company needs to do a detailed budget in order to get funding. You have to request it before I decide if I allow it. Go write up a budget and then you can request it." Chapter 561. Steven's complaints. Just then, a car stopped before Chun Zhao's house. Chun Zhao walked out only to see Steven. Chun Zhao was actually happy to see him, but it was really sudden. Steven had come here without even bringing his assistant. Chun Zhao recalled from their last phone call that Steven had yet to complete the filming. "Hey old man, why didn't you tell me that you're coming?" Chun Zhao walked up and gave Steven a friendly hug. "How come you're here?" "Chun, I'm really upset now. Have you been having too much sex again?" Chun Zhao scanned Steven's body. "You need a checkup." "Do you have alcohol?" Steven asked. "Come in." Chun Zhao did not know what had happened to Steven, but he surely looked depressed. Chun Zhao grabbed some beer. Princess strolled over with her big butt shaking. She wanted some beer too. "Darling, come here." Steven walked up and helped Princess open a bottle of beer. He took a mouthful first and then fed some to Princess. "So what's wrong?" "Damn. I'll never cooperate with PLM again. They're all assholes." Steven roared, venting his frustration. "What exactly happened?" "Those bastards want my new movie to be released in July." And then, Steven's eyes widened. "Do you know how complicated it is to make a movie? Dubbing, colors, editing and reshooting. Need at least half a year, but now there are only 3 months left. 3 months for post-production? Not even enough for publicizing. The box office is going to be shit too. Chun, do you know how much this will affect me? Isn't Rasfa in charge of this? Talk to him." It was not Chun Zhao's field, so he did not know much about it. "That old asshole can't do anything too," Steven said, helpless. "Why?" "He's not the sole decision-maker in PLM. Rasfa's opponent is the second largest shareholder, Slody, whose people include the manager of the Resources and Publication Department. Next February, New York Plan, a super blockbuster movie invested by PLM, will be released, so Slody suggested that they should give New York Plan enough time for advertisements. And if my Great Sea Detective wants any resources in publication, I'll have to release it either after New York Plan or earlier." Steven added helplessly, "If I release it in July and start the publication now, there's no way I can cover the world in 3 months. PLM is only going to give a budget of $5 million for my publication. Fuck. Do you know what's the publication budget for New York Plan? $80 million. And New York Plan's film budget is only $120 million. Steven had come here to complain. What could Chun Zhao do? He did not know about any of this. "Steven, I believe that you will succeed, even if you only have 3 months." Steven shook his head. "I have no hope in this. Once my Great Sea Detective fails, I'll take full responsibility. My reputation will be ruined." "Is there nothing you can do at all?" Chun Zhao asked. Steven shook his head. "Too little time for post-production. Too little time for publication. Too little budget. There's no way it's going to be successful." Steven kept complaining, but Chun Zhao could not help him. Chun Zhao was not an omnipotent god. If he was one, he would surely make Steven's box office break the world record. Indeed, Steven was only here to grumble. When Fei Lai came back, she saw Chun Zhao and Steven lying on the grass. There were cans all around them. "Hey Chun." Fei Lai patted Chun Zhao's face. Chun Zhao opened his eyes, looking dazed. "Darling, what's the time now? How much beer did you and Steven drink?" Chun Zhao rubbed his forehead. "No idea." After a while, Steven also woke up. "Chun, Fei Lai, I gotta go." "No, I don't want to be a murderer." "You're still drunk." Chun Zhao stopped Steven. "I still have work to do." "I don't care. You have to stay here tonight." Steven could not dissuade Chun Zhao. Importantly, Chun Zhao had even snatched his car keys. Steven had to spend the night here. Nevertheless, the two went to eat and drink again. Steven drank so much that he eventually vomited. Then Chun Zhao carried him into a bedroom. When Chun Zhao went downstairs, Fei Lai was sitting by the lake. "Is Steven sleeping?" "Yes." Chun Zhao sat down beside Fei Lai. Just then, little Nine surfaced from the water. It rested one of its heads gently on Fei Lai's legs. "Oh." Fei Lai stroked little Nine's head. It felt cold and comfortable to touch. It was really different from the furry feeling of mammals. Suddenly a beetle climbed over. Shocked, Little Nine immediately dived into the lake. Compared to Obito's fire dragon bloodline, Little Nine was still weaker. Moreover, the 4-meter-long Obito's was much stronger than the 7-meter-long Little Nine. Lastly, one of them was fire while the other was water. They were born incompatible. Every time Little Nine encountered Obito's, it would be bullied by him. Ada! Obito's poked Chunjiao with his head. He also tried to lean against Chunjiao and Fei Lai like what Little Nine was doing. However, with his 600 kilograms of weight, even if he did not lie on Fei Lai entirely, Fei Lai could not take it. In addition, Obito's scales were not as smooth as Little Nine's skin, not to mention his fire dragon bloodline. He did not have the coldness of cold-blooded animals. Instead, if anyone put their hand on his skin, they would feel a scorching temperature. Ada, father said that he's finished counting Samuel Logan's properties. When you're free you can go and take your share. Chunjiao nodded. He was also looking forward to what he could receive. Chin, when I passed by the supermarket today, I heard from the staff that you bought many things, even a television. Who are you giving them to? Chunjiao was momentarily stunned before he reacted. People in that place. They're isolated from this world, and many things are unavailable. Every time I go there empty-handed, so I decided to bring some things there this time. Oh, are you going there again soon? Fei Lai was really curious about what that place was. Yup, within the next few days. Oh. Chapter 562, Carlo's Hell Trip. What did death feel like? First there was darkness. Then your consciousness would start fading. You'd keep falling like you were drowning. The process felt like an eternity but also like one instant. Then there was a red light. Finally, you'd fall into a large river. A frightening river filled with fresh blood. This was what Carlo felt. This river was filled with monstrous and frightening creatures. Compared to the creatures here, crypt demons were like domestic kitties. Souls kept falling down from the sky. They were all people who died and fallen into the blood river. Carlo was chased by a 12-meter-long fish. Just as he thought he would die a second time, a hand grabbed his neck and pulled him out of the river. Then the monster who grabbed him stuffed him into a bottle. There were 2 other people or souls in the bottle. Carlo learned from them that this was hell. The monster who'd captured him was called a demon. One of the humans was English. The other was Australian. Durante, the English person, was an alcoholic and had serious violence issues. In the end, his wife killed him in his sleep. Nibor, the Australian, was a gang leader. He died in a shooting. Where are we going now? Carlo asked. To get sold, Nibor said. We might get sold to other demons. What if no demons buy us? Carlo asked. Then we'll get eaten, Durante said. Before you 2 arrived, the other 2 souls imprisoned with me were eaten. Carlo and Nibor shuddered. Will we get eaten by the other demons who buy us? No. Our souls are pretty complete, so if other demons buy us, it's not so they can eat us. Then what can we do? Work. What work? Don't know, Durante said. I've been stuck here the entire time. How would I know what we'd do? Can we escape? Escape? Ha, Durante laughed. Are you sure that you, a pathetic and weak soul, can live in this terrifying hell? Just then the demon Adu looked over, peering at the talking souls. Don't think about escaping. You can live a bit longer like this. Adu clearly heard them talking. The 3 souls paled in fear. Adu cackled. If you get bought by other demons, you'll be lucky. But you can talk a bit more when we get to Obsidian City. You might get noticed by other demons. Move! Suddenly, a large hand pushed Adu to the ground. Adu shuddered and quickly knelt down. A huge red demon walked past Adu. There was a large group behind the red demon. However, most of the demons in the group had handcuffs and shackles. Lord Adu, what is with these demons? Why are they shackled? They're the booty for our Lord. Half a year ago, our Lord fought with his neighbor Samuel Logan. Lord Logan lost, so our Lord took over his land. These are Logan's servants. Now they belong to our Lord. Is that red demon the Lord? Nonsense. That's an inferior chaos demon. Lord Adu, what level are you? Durante asked. You ask too much. I'll eat you first if you don't get sold tomorrow. Durante was terrified. He didn't think that he'd get treated like this just by asking a question. He wouldn't know that Adu was only an inferior hybrid demon. He was the lowliest demon in hell, and didn't even have a breed. More importantly, the earlier chaos demon was a soldier under the Lord. Adu was only a small merchant. His status was much worse. On the other hand, Carlo and Nibor were gleeful. If he ate Durante first, then they'd be safe for now. The sky darkened without any warning. Carlo saw a huge red dragon flying in the sky. That's the Lord's wife, a superior demon with noble dragon blood. Adu pointed at the black castle in the distance. See that castle? That's Obsidian Castle, where the Lord's wife lives. Carlo stared at the castle, eyes filled with envy. He could tell that Adu was lower class in hell. Even though Adu was able to kill him now, he was still nothing before the important figures. Even one of the Lord's soldiers could humiliate him at will, let alone the high and mighty Lord. If Carlo could enter that castle, he might be able to change his fate. Of course, right now, his fate wasn't in his own hands. After Adu entered Obsidian City, he sat down in an empty spot. Then he placed the bottles filled with souls before him. Just then, a terrifying demon walked over. Adu immediately prostrated himself on the ground. "Raise your head," the demon said. "Lord, are you talking to me?" Adu asked, lifting his head. "Are there any other idiots here?" Adu looked around. There were so many demons nearby. How could he confirm that he was the idiot? "Lord, how may I help you? Do you have the soul of a human scholar?" Hearing the demon, Carlo immediately yelled, Me, I'm a human scholar." The chance was here. The chance to change his fate was here. The terrifying demon picked up the bottle. "You're a human scholar." Yes, I'm a human scholar. "Lord, how can I help you? Do you know Spanish or whatever?" Yes. Carlo was even more excited. Spanish was one of his most fluent languages. "Good, you belong to me now." The demon glanced at Adu on the ground and tossed a stone to him. Adu kowtowed continuously. "Thank you for your benevolence. These two souls don't seem to be useful." The demon glanced at Durante and Nibor. "Lord, I know French," Nibor said hurriedly. "Don't need that. Lord, better be safe than sorry. Maybe you'll need me." The demon considered this. It seemed reasonable, so he chose to keep him. Then he looked at Durante. "What about you?" I. Chapter 563. When Enemies Meet. "I'm his assistant," Durante stammered as he stared at Carlo with a pleading look. Carlo smiled. "Sir, yes, he is indeed my assistant. Having an assistant can help him regain his confidence. He would soon be admired by everyone again, just like in the past. If he's your assistant, I'll keep him." "Sir, how do I address you?" "Hybo. I'm the Great Lord's personal bodyguard," Hybo answered proudly. "The Lord also gave me the current task." Then Hybo crushed the bottle. Carlo, Durante, and Nibor finally regained their freedom. "Follow closely. If you go too far away and get eaten by other demons, I won't care," Hybo warned coldly. "Especially after we enter the castle." Hybo brought the three into the castle. On their way, they saw many chained demons being pulled into the castle. Some of them were big, others small. After they passed the passageway, they reached an open space. The space was piled with boxes of various sizes. The Lord must have gained so much from the war. Carlo looked at the boxes, guessing what they could possibly contain. "Wait here. I'll report to the Lord now." Hybo left. The three did not dare to move around and so waited in their spots. Durante and Nibor stood beside Carlo attentively. "Mr. Carlo, we'll be counting on you in the future." Of course. We're companions," Carlo said with a smile. Despite his polite words, he was clearly arrogant. He was completely behaving as though he was superior. Nevertheless, Durante and Nibor could do nothing but flatter him. Only he was useful to the demon lord here, after all. The two of them were merely followers. Suddenly Carlo saw a figure. A figure that he could not be more familiar with. A person whom he abhorred. Chun Zhao. If it wasn't for Chun Zhao, he wouldn't have died. If it wasn't for Chun Zhao, he wouldn't have fallen into hell. When Carlo saw Chun Zhao, indescribable anger burned inside him. Is he dead too? Has he fallen into hell as well? Carlo continued to stare at Chun Zhao. He saw Chun Zhao approach the boxes casually. Then Chun Zhao began to search through the boxes. He seemed to be picking some things from them. Great. I thought I would never have the chance to take revenge. I didn't expect to see you here. Now, you don't have the power you had in the human world. Stop. These are the Lord's trophies. How dare you steal them? Carlo shouted righteously. Chun Zhao was stunned. He was choosing gifts for Fei Lai and his friends. Clearly, he did not expect an interferer. Moreover, he actually knew the interferer. Yo, isn't it Professor? Carlo. Haha, you've actually ended up in hell. Using a Chinese saying, there's always another chance to meet again after separation, Chun Zhao teased. Since Carlo was dead and in hell, Chun Zhao could not be bothered to deal with him again. Who wants to meet with you? Carlo had heard the Chinese saying before. The happier Chun Zhao looked, the more unhappy Carlo was. Go and beat him up. Carlo waved his hand. Hesitant, Durante and Nibor exchanged looks. Go. Are you not going to listen to me? Professor Carlo, who is he? Doesn't matter. He's just a nobody. I died because of him. But, given that he's here, he might have some power here? Durante and Nibor were worried that Chun Zhao had some form of position. He died after me. What could he have done here? Carlo said with confidence. He was lucky to have entered Obsidian Castle. How could Chun Zhao be even luckier than him? You saw for yourselves that he was stealing the Lord's trophies. No matter who he is, he's doomed for sure, Carlo said. Don't you want to be recognized by the Lord? Durante and Nibor glanced at each other. That's right. If they beat him up after the Demon Lord arrived, they could righteously claim that they did it only because he had been stealing. They might even be recognized by the Lord. It was an exceptional opportunity not to be missed. After they heard Carlo's words, they looked at Chun Zhao with an evil smile. Go. Even if you kill him, I'll take the responsibility, Carlo said, fully confident. Carlo had just received Haibo's recognition, and now he felt as if he already owned the world. Durante charged forward impatiently. However, the only thing that welcomed him was Chun Zhao's fist. Bang! Durante's spirit broke up at once. However, very quickly it converged again. Chun Zhao looked at his hand. He had forgotten to use magical power. Professor Carlo, look at how popular you are wherever you go. Where did you get those 2 followers? Chun Zhao looked at Carlo, smiling. Cut it out. It's too late to act friendly. Carlo felt that Chun Zhao was begging him for mercy. Nonetheless, Carlo viewed Chun Zhao as an absolutely irreconcilable enemy. How could he let Chun Zhao off? You're going to die today. Great. I would love to see who's going to die, Chun Zhao said with his arms crossed. Durante and Nibor charged up again. This time Chun Zhao channeled some magical power to his leg. He lifted his leg and kicked Durante's groin. Durante gave a miserable scream and knelt on the ground. Covering his groin, he moaned in pain. Nibor attempted to sneak attack Chun Zhao. However, Chun Zhao punched out and half of Nibor's shoulder was gone in an instant. This time it did not heal. Nibor also collapsed and groaned in agony. Carlo's expression changed drastically. Why is this asshole still so powerful in hell? But it was useless. This was hell, not the lawful human world. Here demons were the true rulers. No matter how strong Chun Zhao was, could he be stronger than the demon lord? Look at the enormous dragon which flew past just now. It was the madam. Given how mighty the madam was, the demon lord was definitely stronger. Help! Help! Carlo shouted. As long as he could attract the attention of other demons, and perhaps even the demon lord, Chun Zhao would be doomed for sure. Chapter 564. Lucky Coin. Haibo came out. However, there was an even bigger demon behind him. This demon was 2 stories high and radiated with a terrifying aura. What the fuck are you screaming about? Beelzebub, Sophie roared. Don't you know where this is? Kneel before the Lord. Haibo thundered. Greetings, Lord. That man, he's stealing your booty. Stealing? You say he's stealing? Sophie looked at Chan Zhao. Hi, Lord. Human, when did you come? Sophie asked. Lord, the living Lord was summoned by the madam, Haibo said. Your wife said these are all mine, Chan Zhao said. How come he says I'm stealing? Sophie looked down at Carlo. Carlo would have pissed his pants if he could. What was going on? Were they close? It sounded like they didn't just know each other. Their tones were like friends greeting each other. This is what I prepared for you, Sophie said. Bring them back first and then pick and choose. There's too much stuff. I want to pick some to give my friends. Living Lord, Haibo said. I found this person for you. The human soul that knows Spanish. But he seems to have offended you. I'll crush his soul now and immediately find a new one for you. Carlo understood immediately. Chan Zhao wanted to translate that naval diary. And Haibo was looking for someone who knew Spanish to help Chan Zhao translate the diary. This meant that Chan Zhao had a close relationship with this demon lord. And from what Haibo said, Chan Zhao didn't die. He'd been summoned by the lord's wife. This relationship was even more complicated. As for Durante and Nibor, their souls were almost scattering in fear. They'd even forgotten their pain. Earlier, they'd wanted to kiss up to Carlo. Now they realized that the truly powerful one was the one they'd provoked. Dead. They were seriously dead now. Chan Zhao squinted at Carlo. Carlo hurriedly knelt down before Chan Zhao. Mr. Chan, I'm sorry. It's my fault, all my fault. Please forgive me. I'll translate each word of the diary. No, I'll translate it into Chinese. Chan Zhao considered it. Carlo's knowledge went without saying. He knew Chinese too. If he translated it into English, there might be places that Chan Zhao couldn't understand. If he could translate into Chinese, it would be easier to understand too. Whatever he'll do, Chan Zhao said. As if saved, Carlo slumped down in relief. What are these two for? Chan Zhao asked. Don't know them. Carlo looked away. Carlo, you motherfucker. We were working for you and you just abandoned us. Durante and Nibor immediately struggled up and yelled at Carlo. Chan Zhao got a new understanding of how selfish Carlo was. He didn't like Carlo before. His dislike grew even more now. These two attacked Chan Zhao under Carlo's orders, but now they were abandoned. You two come over, Chan Zhao said. Durante and Nibor went over to him. What did you two do when alive? Lord, I was a bus driver, Durante said. Why are you in hell? Hitting my wife. Kill him. Chan Zhao flipped Durante over with a kick. Ah! Haibo came over and crushed Durante without wasting any time. I hate men who hit their wives. Chan Zhao looked at Nibor. What about you? I didn't hit my wife. I didn't even get married, Nibor hurriedly said. I just was in a gang. Nibor wasn't sure if Chan Zhao would kill him for this. What business? We just took protective money, Nibor mumbled. And? What kind of modern gang only charged protective tax? This wasn't the 80s or 90s. No one would pay the tax either. And sold some firearms, Nibor said, head hanging low. Chan Zhao touched his chin. Where are you from? Australia. Do you have sources for firearms in America? Chan Zhao asked. Lord, you want to buy firearms? Yeah. Yes, of course. Actually, my source is American. Good, Chan Zhao said. Come back to the living world with me. Huh? Back to the living world? What, you don't want to? Then just stay in hell. Yes, I'm willing to go back. He didn't even have to think to know what to choose. If he stayed in this demonic hell, he could be eaten at any time. It was better to go back. He might be enslaved, but at least Chan Zhao was human. Mr. Chan, what about me? Do the translation first. Get one word wrong and I'll crush you and put you back together. Chan Zhao didn't like Carlo. In fact, he hated the man, so he wouldn't keep Carlo by his side. Human, I have something for you, Sophie said. What? Chan Zhao asked curiously. Sophie took a box out. Contained a few gold coins. Chan Zhao's pupils constricted. Substitute coins. He was clear how valuable substitute coins were and what they could be used for. There's only one in here, Sophie said. But it's useless for you now. Why? Substitute coins can only be used for weak individuals. You're strong now. It can't be effective on you. Fine, he wouldn't use it if he couldn't. But even if he couldn't, he could still give it to Feilai. What are the other 3 coins? Lucky coins, Sophie said. Keeping the coin with me will bring me good luck. No. Put a drop of blood onto it when you need good luck. Then, the coin will give you a certain amount of luck in one aspect. This thing must be something you can do. If you can't do it, the lucky coin won't help you accomplish it either. It should be more useful for you, right? Chun Zhao asked. The stronger you are, the less effective these special tools are. The lucky coin can only bring temporary luck. It won't make your wishes come true. Chapter 565. Unspeakable Gains. Which means it's pretty much useless for me. Yes, Beelzebub, Sophie said. I used a lucky coin 2,000 years ago. What happened then? What did you gain? I trampled a plague rat which had been stealing my treasures. Before that, I hadn't managed to catch the rat. That time I was about as strong as you are right now. Chun Zhao was speechless. Lucky coins seemed to be totally useless to him. Never mind. It's a magic item after all. Let's keep it. Carlo and Nibor stared at Chun Zhao. They regretted even more. Chun Zhao clearly had an extraordinary relationship with the Demon Lord. The Demon Lord even gave him such precious items as a gift. Ordinary beings couldn't even imagine them. By then, Carlo also understood why Chun Zhao was uninterested in the things in that ancient ruin. If Chun Zhao really wanted something, he could just come to hell. What could he not get? Just then, Oris came towards them from inside. Human, we've prepared a feast for you. Quick, follow me. Don't tell me it's things like evil spirit soup, human bone dish, or human skin stew again. Don't worry. Not this time. I know you don't like them. When Oris prepared a meal for Chun Zhao last time, he was almost disgusted to death. Chun Zhao even suspected that Oris had done it on purpose. Anyway, the meal this time was not half bad. Nibor had been following Chun Zhao. As Chun Zhao ate, he turned his head and asked, "You want some?" "Here. Can I?" He's just a petty spirit. All the dishes here contain demonic power. Take one bite and he'll be gone forever, Beelzebub, Sophie warned. Helpless, Chun Zhao patted Nibor's shoulder. Don't be sad. You won't die if you don't eat them. Oh wait, you're already dead. Chun Zhao spent 24 hours in Obsidian Castle. He went to a few places that he had not been to. While it was not his first time here, the castle was huge. There were indeed many places he had yet to visit. Of course, some places were rather anti-human. For example, there was a torment oven. Souls that had fallen to hell for deception would be tossed into the oven and cooked with hell water. In the end, they would be refined into the breath of the bewitcher. Chun Zhao had no clue what that was, but he felt that surely it couldn't be a good thing, given that it was extracted from deceitful souls. After 24 hours, Chun Zhao returned to the human world. He had left the nautical dairy in hell for Carlo to translate. After all, there was so much content. It wasn't something that could be translated in a day or two. As soon as Chun Zhao returned home, he went into the space crevice. He also brought Nibor in. Chun Zhao, why did you bring a soul in here? Blackie stared at Nibor. Nibor peed his pants at once. The Grim Reaper. Chun Zhao really had a wide social circle. Demons and now even the Grim Reaper. I'm thinking about whether your skeleton army should get armed. You know, guns. Chun Zhao had suggested this idea to Blackie before. The skeleton soldiers were all revived with necromantic spells. Individually, they might even be weaker than a human adult, although they looked frightening with their large numbers. However, if the skeleton soldiers were armed with modern weapons, it would be a completely different story. Just think about it. A skeleton army armed to the teeth. An army which did not know fear or retreat. It would be so cool. Do you have that much money? Blackie asked. This is a problem. Chun Zhao gave it some thought. I've brought back many things from hell. Take a look. Help me see if there's anything valuable that can be sold here. Chen Zhao took out many boxes of various sizes. There were more than 100 of them. You come and help me too. See if I can sell any of these. Most of the boxes had raw materials in them. Beelzebub Zophi also knew that Chen Zhao had to create various potions, so he gave him mostly materials. Mountain Demon's beard. Perhaps some rich guys will love this. This is still moving. It's obviously abnormal. Which rich guy will love this kind of obviously evil stuff? What about this? Lurker's eyeball. It even glows red in the dark. If someone places this in their room, I'm sure they'll be scared to death someday. Master, this is definitely okay. You can get a lot of money, Nibor said, pointing at a box of gems. Oh, they're demonic diamonds, very similar to diamonds in the human world. And they're of high quality. You can sell this, Blackie confirmed. Fuck? Have you seen a 1,000-carat diamond? If I go and sell this, people will think it's a synthetic diamond. Chen Zhao covered his forehead. Indeed, nothing here could be shown to other people. Master, you can cut a demonic diamond into small pieces and then sell them, Nibor suggested. No, Blackie said. Once you destroy a demonic diamond, it'll release a ton of curses. Forget it. Let's earn money properly. Master, let me plan for you. You'll soon become the King of Arms of America. Scram. Chen Zhao widened his eyes at Nibor. If he was caught as an illegal doctor, he could easily get away by paying taxes and spending some money to prove that it was his first offense. However, if he was caught here as a foreign arms dealer, he would be jailed for life. Moreover, Chen Zhao did not want to be involved in such things. Even in America, where gun ownership was legal, arms trafficking was a severe crime. If he killed a person, he could clean it up properly and hide everything. However, arms trafficking involved deals with people. There was no way he could remove all evidence. Chen Zhao did not plan to do such a dangerous thing. He was satisfied with the income he had now. Of course, if he could become rich safely, he would not reject it. Chen Zhao left Nibor in the crevice. Nibor would be Blackie's temporary assistant. Meanwhile, he could help Chen Zhao to manage the items. By the time Chen Zhao came out, it was already 4 in the morning. He did not go back to the bedroom. Instead, he slept in the living room. The next day, Fei Lai woke Chen Zhao up. She looked at Chen Zhao, somewhat displeased. Why didn't you come into the room? Fei Lai knew that Chen Zhao did not want to disturb her. Nevertheless, the more caring Chen Zhao was, the more uncomfortable she felt. Chen Zhao pulled Fei Lai over and kissed her straight. His hands also started moving on Fei Lai's body. I'm about to go to work. Take this. A coin. You must keep the coin on you at all times. Chen Zhao looked at Fei Lai with a serious face. What does it do? Block death for you a single time. Chapter 566. Learn finance and then cultivation. I don't want it, Fei Lai said. You keep it. You go through so much danger all the time. You need it more than me. I obviously have one too, Chen Zhao said, taking out a gold coin. The pattern on it looks different. Every substitute coin is different, Chen Zhao said. Put it somewhere safe. I hope you'll never need to use this. Okay. 1 hour later. Chen, if you don't stop, the coin will be used right now. Oh, Kyla, I produced the ointment. Do you and Fanny still need it? Chen Zhao was calling Kyla. Yes, how many bottles did you make? I want it all. Hearing Chen Zhao's words, Kyla bought it all in excitement. Even though it was very costly, she definitely wouldn't lose anything by buying it. She could use it herself or give it to her family. The ointment had a great effect. Plus it was very rare. You couldn't buy it just because you had money. Having a few bottles with her, it was better safe than sorry. I'm sorry, I can only sell you 2 bottles, Chen Zhao said. Why? Kyla asked. Did you only make 2 bottles? You want to heal the burn on Fanny's hand, right? If she uses it, she only needs 1 bottle. It's not enough at all, Kyla said. Her burn needs at least 3 bottles. Just using the ointment constantly, you'll definitely need 3 bottles, Chen Zhao said. But you can pair it with my treatment and save 2 bottles. How much will your treatment for Fanny cost? 2 bottles of ointment and the treatment for Fanny, $500,000 in total. Can you accept that? Sure, Kyla answered easily. When she'd visited Fanny a few days ago, she'd been frowning at her burned hand. She kept asking when Changzhou could produce the ointment too. Are you at home tonight? Fanny and I will come over. You want to come over? Changzhou asked. It's not that troublesome. It's just acupuncture to stimulate the pores on the palm to absorb the ointment. You don't need to stay the night. It's okay. Fanny and I don't have much to do these days. Then sure. Changzhou put down his dumbbell and then swam to the internal alchemy in the center of the lake. He sat down to meditate. He would practice the Qingyi manual whenever he had time. He hadn't come into contact with other cultivation techniques before, so he didn't know if they were similar to the Qingyi manual. The cultivation process was a process of converting your own spiritual power to spiritual qi in the air and back. In modern terms that everyone could understand, it was like a fund. Your spiritual power was your capital. The spiritual qi in the outside world was a company's funding. The richness of spiritual qi was like how rich the company was. If you invested your capital in a fund that lacked money, you might not even get your capital back or just earn it back after a long time. The rich spiritual qi around Changzhou's house was like a well-funded company. The rewards were also obvious. In the entire Mirror Lake region, there would be the most spiritual qi around the internal alchemy. Of course, the Qingyi manual was one of those slow and steady investments, no cultivation techniques. The short-term returns weren't obvious, but it was steady. As long as he didn't do anything stupid, he wouldn't lose anything or hurt his original capital, spiritual power. Actually, the river map was the best place for cultivation. Unfortunately, there was an ancient turtle there. Old Turtle never let him cultivate in peace whenever he went. If he was the old grandpa type who could help him cultivate, Changzhou would tolerate him. However, he was the type who was really powerful but completely unreliable. This was why you couldn't become a teacher just because you were smart. As for the river map, anyone could see that it was a great treasure passed down from ancient times. But there wasn't much use. It really was useless. Before, Changzhou had wanted to relax in there. But ever since Old Turtle forced him to play games for 3 days and nights, Changzhou gave up. Old Turtle had been stuck in there for thousands of years. Now there was finally someone who could eat and play with him. So every time Changzhou went in there, Old Turtle would annoy him in every way possible. Okay, he had to care for the lonely senior occasionally. After cultivating, Changzhou entered the river map. I wish I could date. Old Turtle was feeling sad about himself again. This was what Changzhou couldn't stand. Where's your dignity as a strong cultivator? You're so powerful, but you just have to act like a middle schooler all day long. You want this today and that tomorrow. And everything else is fine, but why do you want to date? You want me to get you a little turtle? Please, they'd be dead if I bring them in. Old Turtle, did you watch some movie recently? Love is not blind. How about you transform yourself? You can date yourself. No, I can't use transformation after cloning. I can't clone myself after transforming. Then use your own face. Dating yourself is interesting too. I've tried. I want to throw up after looking at myself for 10 seconds. Changzhou felt like he didn't have to come to visit at all. Old Turtle actually had fun by himself. Here. Changzhou found a magazine and cut out a person's face, taping it to Old Tortoise's face. Now it's okay. Hey, it might work. Old Turtle cloned himself again. Changzhou sat on the ground. He drank alcohol while watching Old Turtle act by himself. What scene are you acting? Titanic. Old Turtle hugged his other self from the back. Jack. Lucy. Black. This alcohol is too much. Changzhou very rarely threw up from drinking, but he really vomited after today's drink. Didn't I bring this in? How come it's so strong? Changzhou asked, holding up the beer. Just as humans are the top of all spiritual creatures, alcohol is the top of all spiritual water. It also absorbs spiritual qi. The more spiritual qi a place has, the stronger the wine produced there. But I didn't brew the beer here. I brought it in from the outside. Of course, but it was here for almost 15 years. It's already come into contact with the spiritual qi. Chapter 567. Alcohol that can make sadness flow into a river. This beer can't hurt anyone, right? It won't hurt you. Spiritual qi only benefits people. It won't hurt anyone. Chen Zhao's head kind of hurt, but his mind was extremely clear. The sweet alcohol entered his throat, hot but not burning. A fragrance poured out without an endless aftertaste. Images flashed past his eyes. Memories that had blurred became clear again. Chen Zhao's cheeks actually dampened. He wiped away his tears. What? I became so emotional after drinking this. Your spiritual power isn't bad. If a regular person drinks it, they'll probably dissolve into tears. You're sure drinking this won't kill anyone? Of course. It's not fake alcohol. Chen Zhao looked around. There was a bamboo forest in the distance. He cut down some bamboo tubes and poured the wine in. What are you doing? I'm going to see if there's a market. What do you mean? Sell the alcohol. Money's tight these days and you keep spending. I need to maintain my income. How much can you sell this for? Old Turtle grew interested too. I don't know, Chen Zhao said. I have to package it and find some rich people to taste it. There's purple bamboo deep in the forest, Old Tortoise said. It'll look better if you use that bamboo. Purple bamboo? It sounds hard to grow. Grows one segment every century, but time flows differently here. As long as you don't chop them all down and only cut down one or two every time, you'll be able to maintain it. The two worked for a while. The purple bamboo was very sturdy. Chen Zhao couldn't even hurt it with his bare hands. In the end, he had to add magic to the bronze sword and chop with it. Name it, Chen Zhao said. Old Turtle wasn't cultured. He thought for a long time and could only think of things like divine wine, spiritual wine. Chen Zhao was speechless. Uncultured people were scary. Just call it purple brew. How is that name better? What's bad about Old Turtle divine wine? Great, but we don't have an Old Turtle in the wine. Chen Zhao made 10 purple bamboo tubes and poured wine into it. He'd planned on brewing wine from the grapes in his backyard anyway. If the purple brew could sell for a nice price, he'd set up a sales channel. This way he'd have another source of income. Old Turtle unwilling carved the words on in classical Chinese. Purple brew. Oh, Halifa. How about we eat dinner together? Halifa Oliver frowned. Why was this old guy inviting him today? She was angry just thinking about the last time. Stephen had obviously gotten Hutchinson-Gilford syndrome, but the next day he said that he wasn't sick. It was just a trick to see her reaction. Halifa didn't know how Stephen did it, even tricking the doctors. But with Stephen's wealth, it wasn't completely impossible. However, Halifa was still caught up with this. She didn't want Stephen to die, but she was even unhappier seeing how comfortable and relaxed Stephen was. I'm busy. Halifa rejected him after hesitating for 3 seconds. I feel depressed these days, Stephen said in a low voice. I want to die. You old asshole, you want to trick me again. No, I'm serious. Work is stressing me out. Halifa knew that Stephen wouldn't commit suicide. But she was still worried, even though Stephen was a shameless bastard. Where are you now? At home, Stephen said. Wait for me. Halifa sighed. This old bastard was honestly her nemesis. After hanging up, Halifa said to her driver, We're not going to the company anymore. When Halifa arrived at Stephen's house, she saw him lying shirtless beside the pool. Old bastard. Halifa entered the house. Hi Halifa. You're here. You don't look like you're about to die. I said that I want to die, not that I'm going to die, Stephen said matter-of-factly. Sit down and drink a glass. We haven't drunk together in a long time. Halifa studied him. Stephen seemed to have drunk a lot. He smelled of alcohol. Stephen never drank alone. Whenever he was unhappy, he would find someone to drink with them. When they were still together, Stephen would ask her to drink with him. After they divorced, Stephen would go to his friends. He really did have something on his mind. This was why he called Halifa over to drink. Just then a commotion sounded outside the door. Why can't I go in? You can't go in. How can you stop me? Ah! Two pained cries came from outside. When Halifa and Stephen heard it, they both got up and went to the door. Then they saw Chun Zhao standing there. Two guards lay on the ground. Would you believe me if I said they hit me first? Chun, how come you're here? Stephen looked at Chun Zhao in shock. Halifa looked at her bodyguards on the ground, expression uncomfortable. You did this. Halifa, Chun is my friend. Stephen was a bit worried that Halifa would do something to Chun Zhao. He knew how powerful Halifa was. Your guest. Chun Zhao looked at Halifa and then said to Stephen, I came to give you some wine. I brewed it myself. You can try it. Stephen looked at the bamboo tube in Chun Zhao's hands. There was a shiny film on the surface. The bamboo had a mistiness. Instead of wine, it looked like it contained chemicals. I won't disturb you anymore. Bye. Chun Zhao handed the purple brew to Stephen and then went back to his car. Is this drinkable? Halifa looked at the bamboo in Stephen's hands. Stephen didn't think like her. Chun Zhao's wine definitely wouldn't be bad. The instant he opened the bamboo, an extreme fragrance spewed out. Then all his memories with Halifa flashed past his eyes. And then he started crying. A strong yet complicated feeling kept growing in his heart. Standing beside Stephen, Halifa also couldn't stop crying. She thought of how she met Stephen, became close, dated, and then divorced. All the ups and downs seized her heart in seconds. Right then, the guard on the ground suddenly stood up. Wow, I need to go find my wife. I miss her. I need to go find her. Boss, I need to take leave. Chapter 568 Old Times. Stephen trembled and immediately closed the bamboo container. Halifa Oliver also shivered, after which she regained her senses. She looked at the bodyguard before her. The other bodyguard was much quieter. Their reactions were completely different. The other one did not seem to be affected at all. Stephen, what kind of wine is this? Stephen wiped the tears on his face. The wine was miraculous. Its aroma alone was enough to stir intense emotions. Stephen, can I have the wine? Halifa asked. Memories could be painful, but they could also be happy. Some of their memories had long blurred, but they became clear after they smelled the wine. It was exhilarating. It was irresistible. The smell was sufficient to intoxicate them and attract them so deeply that they could not stop. No, it's a gift from my friend. Stephen was similarly unwilling to give the wine away. He also missed that feeling, the feelings of happiness and sorrow. In only a few seconds, it was as if he had recalled everything in the past. Boss, I would like to apply for leave. Halifa widened her eyes at her bodyguard. 3 days. Yes, boss, see you. Give some to me, Halifa requested again. Can't you see that the wine is held in a special vessel? If I pour it into another container, it'll surely lose its effects. Stephen looked all-knowing. You asked me here to drink with you, didn't you? Now you have good wine and you're keeping it for yourself? Where's your sincerity? Stephen really wanted to keep the wine and drink it himself. However, since Halifa had pointed it out so bluntly, he could only share the wine. When he opened the bamboo container again, the aroma filled the air, but the emotional impact was much weaker. Nonetheless, the smell was only more fascinating. It smells so good. I've never smelled anything like this before. Halifa was also a frequent drinker. She had collected wines from various wineries at home. However, she could guarantee that she had never come across a wine whose aroma alone was so alluring. Stephen poured a small glass for Halifa. Your health isn't great. Don't drink too much. Halifa lifted her head and downed the glass in one mouthful. Remember when we first met? A picture suddenly flashed across Halifa's mind. Stephen also took a sip. A scene appeared in his head. That time I was filming my graduation piece. You were the only girl who came for the audition. You wore a floral dress, white, very beautiful. And I thought, it'll be great if you could become my wife. Remember the first restaurant you asked me to? Yeah. As they were quite old, they had many memories. At the start, they had only sweet memories. Gradually, however, they began to argue. I said I wasn't unfaithful. That woman ran into my room herself. She had arranged a group of reporters and pretended that she's the victim. Do you think that you can deceive me again with your words? They drank a few more glasses. They started to pour their hearts out. Remember your 50th birthday party? I'm the one who hired those male strippers. $200 each, 10 of them. Stephen laughed. It's you, old asshole. Remember 8 years ago when you dated that old man? I'm the one who hired people to break his leg, Stephen said again. Oh, what's his name again? Halifa could not remember. Here, one more glass and you'll remember. Stephen tilted the bamboo container, but only a few drops fell out. Fuck. It's empty. Stephen was annoyed. What? Halifa was also impatient. They ran out of wine before they were satisfied. You should have drunk slower. Asshole, you didn't drink less than me. Halifa licked her lips. The aroma was still around her lips. It was mellow and not intense. It would cause emotional fluctuations but no headaches. Ask your friend to give us 2 more. Stephen's eyes lit up. Right. Stephen called Chun Zhao. Hey Chun. Stephen, what's up? Chun, I finished the wine you gave me. Give me 2 more bottles. No. I've only made a few bottles and I need to give some to Rasfa, Zola and my other friends. Don't say how close we are. I can only give you 1 bottle. What? Just 1? You might as well not give me any. Who gives presents like this? Stephen cursed. Rasfa's quit drinking. Give me his share. You're my friend, so is he. There's no way I'm going to give you 2 and not give him any, Chun Zhao answered. If you still want to drink, go find someone with the wine. Yeah, I can go to Rasfa's for the wine, Stephen thought. I'm going to Rasfa's. Are you coming with me? Stephen asked. Yes, of course. Oh, fuck. Give me my wine back, you thieves. Rasfa screamed loudly. I've only had 1 sip, bastard. After Rasfa had taken his sip, he was still enjoying the sweet aftertaste, thinking about those unforgettable times. However, by the time he realized it, Stephen and Halifa had already finished half of the wine. Rasfa, when have you become so stingy? It's just a bottle of wine. Just a bottle of wine. It's Chen's wine. Don't you know how precious his wine is? Rasfa attempted to snatch the wine, but Stephen would not let go. The two grappled with each other and eventually knocked the bamboo container onto the floor. They began arguing loudly. In the end, they only stopped because of Halifa. Someone, come and clean the living room. A maid walked in. Her eyes were red and her face had clear tear marks. What's wrong? Did someone bully you? Sir, nobody bullied me. I just recalled the times when my grandmother was still alive. The maid sobbed. Has the wine been enchanted with magic? Halifa said, amused. Stephen and Rasfa widened their eyes at each other like 2 roosters. They were still blaming the other for spilling the wine. Now none of them could drink. No, we have to get more from Chun. Chun said that he doesn't have a lot himself. He's giving each friend just 1 bottle. Wait, I think he said he's giving 1 to Zola. Let's go and find Zola. Chapter 569, Beautiful. No, I'm already sleeping. Don't come bother me. Without hesitating, Zola rejected Rasfa's idea to come to see his grandson and granddaughter. Of course, if you really miss them, I can have someone bring them over. Zola was enjoying the sweet wine. There was no doubt that Rasfa was here for the wine. I'm already outside the door. I can see your light still on. Maybe the maid forgot to turn it off. With that, the lights in Zola's house were turned off. Rasfa, Stephen and Halifa, the 3 elders, were barred outside like that. I introduced Zola to so many Hollywood clients and she treats me like this. I'm her father and she won't let me in the door. This is too much. Oh, Johnny Chun gifted me a bottle of wine. It's so sweet. Come try it. Sure. I'm coming. When Risfar reached Dell's house, Dell smelled alcohol on Risfar. How come you smell like alcohol? Did Chen gift you some too? Fuck, you already got it. Why are you here to smooch off of me? Lola and I finished it already, Risfar said. You can't finish it by yourself, so I'm here to help. Fuck, why? Isn't it just a bottle of wine? Didn't you have any special feelings? Special feelings? It's just really sweet. Fine. Pretend I didn't say anything. Oh, Chun, when will you brew more of that wine? Rasfa was calling Chun Zhao. Chun Zhao thought for a moment and replied, I'll make a dozen or so bottles per month. Did you gift us the wine so we'll help you promote it? Rasfa was an old fox. Chun Zhao's plans couldn't fool him. Yes. Sell me a bottle per month and I'll help you promote it. Sure, no problem. You can only make a dozen bottles per month? Rasfa asked again. Of course. If possible, I want to make more for you too. Okay, whatever. No matter how many bottles you produce, there won't be more than 3 bottles on the market per month. Chun Zhao also knew about supply and demand. No matter how precious the purple brew was, the cost would fall once it became more common. Whether something was good or bad wasn't only related to its quality, it was more about the quantity. Just think, 1,000 bottles could earn $500,000 versus 1 bottle that could sell for $500,000. Was the profit equal? Steven said he wants to help promote too, Rasfa continued. Oh, but we need stuff to promote, right? Then you shouldn't have drunk all the wine. How about you sell it all to me? Chun Zhao rolled his eyes. The cost definitely wouldn't be small. He estimated that 1 bottle would be around $500,000. It was fine for 1 or 2 months, but if Rasfa spent a few $100,000 to buy this wine, even he would go bankrupt. So Chun Zhao either had to lower the price to sell to him, or Rasfa had to spend great fortunes to buy it. Either way, it wasn't suitable, so he'd rather gift them a bottle every month. It was also to compensate him for promoting the purple brew. Chun Zhao went home and prepared for Fei Lai's return. He placed the bamboo tubes of purple brew neatly and took out some ice cubes. People rarely put ice in red wine because it might affect the taste after the ice melted. However, Chun Zhao didn't care. He could make as much of the wine as he wanted. It was a limited edition for the outside world but not for him. After a while, Fei Lai came back. Smells great. Where does that wine smell come from? Fei Lai entered the room. For some reason, her eyes filled with tears. Fei Lai, I brewed this with a recipe I found. Try it. Chun Zhao raised a goblet and handed it to her. As soon as she put it to her mouth, the mesmerizing fragrance created tears in her eyes. It was too beautiful. Fei Lai felt moved as if seeing flowers bloom in spring and icebergs melt, allowing everything to be reborn. She took a sip of the wine and dabbed her lip with a finger. Then she sucked on her finger. Chun, this isn't regular wine, right? It is for us. Oh, give a bottle to Robio tomorrow. Arg. Meow. Princess and Samuel wanted to drink too. Chun, can they drink? Yeah. If Rasfa and Steven knew that Chun Zhao fed the purple brew to a cat, they'd probably come visit with their guns. The purple brew didn't make anyone intoxicated. Princess drank beer often. Sometimes she would get drunk and go crazy, but the purple brew didn't pose this problem. Kyla and Fanny came. They parked the car at the door instead of the underground garage, and came through the door. Smells so good. What is it? I've never smelled wine so sweet. It's so moving. Want a glass? Fei Lai offered a glass. Fanny accepted and drank it all. That instant, an image flashed through her mind. It was that dreamlike night. That night she'd been thirsty, so she went downstairs to look for water. And then that black shadow, the snake that led her to the waterfall cave. The voice at the end. Fanny's head shot up and she looked at Chun Zhao. It was him. That voice was him. Fanny, are you okay? Chun Zhao didn't understand. Why was Fanny suddenly looking at him? Fanny lowered her head. No, nothing. Fanny, Kyla. How come you two came over today? Chun said that he made the ointment, Kyla explained. So I brought Fanny over. Actually, she'd wanted to come over herself. She had to admit that the trip was worth it. If she hadn't come, she would have missed this wine. For dinner, they sat on the grass in the front yard, chatting while drinking. Mr. Chun, do you sell this wine? Yes, but I can gift you 2 bottles, Chun Zhao said. How much is one? Fanny asked. I want 10 bottles. I've set it at $500,000 per bottle for now. Splooch. Fei Lai, Fanny, and Kyla all spat out their wine at the same time. Fanny looked at Chen Zhao in shock. Are you sure you said the right price? I'm not drunk. I know what I'm saying. I can't even afford 1 bottle per month with that price, Kyla said, chuckling wryly. Even an A-list actress was stunned by that price. But whether the wine was worth the price, it depended on the person. It was indeed great, but not to the point that people would lose their minds over it. The price also meant that there wouldn't be a large supply. Chapter 570 Best Friends. Full and satisfied, the 3 ladies jumped into Mirror Lake. Usually Fei Lai was a very careful person. But she knew that there would not be any danger in Mirror Lake. It was indeed much safer than Angel Beach. Why is there a big stone there? The 3 of them climbed onto the stone. Immediately they felt completely refreshed. An indescribable feeling erupted in them. Fanny suddenly closed her legs, her face flushed. Luckily, Kyla and Fei Lai did not notice her weird behavior. The 3 ladies lay on the stone in a triangle. It's so comfortable. Fei Lai, I really envy you. What's there to envy about me? Actually, I envy big stars like you, Fei Lai said with a smile. In fact, Fei Lai was not interested in becoming a celebrity. Last time, she went to visit Steven's crew. Steven asked her if she wanted to play a small character. Although the scene would last only a few seconds, Fei Lai still rejected. It was a female killer in the Mexican gang. She would rake the protagonists with a machine gun. Fanny touched the stone with her hand. It was a unique feeling. It was extremely comfortable. It was like the younger her holding her mother's hand. It was warm and soft. It was also like her father's hug before she came to LA. It was kind and generous. Fanny had no idea where that feeling came from. Hey Fanny, what are you thinking about? Nothing. Fei Lai, chin strong, right? Kyla stared at Fei Lai with a teasing look. When Fei Lai heard that, she flushed at once. She lowered her head and muttered, Yeah? Fei Lai, why are you red? I don't mean that. Fei Lai was stunned, but she immediately realized that Kyla was teasing her. Then can your boyfriend satisfy you? Fei Lai fought back. If he can't, I don't mind asking Chen to help you. Kyla rolled her eyes. I don't have a boyfriend. Stop lying. How is that possible? My family are loyal believers. We're against premarital sex, Kyla said, helpless. Religions like Christianity had such rules. For example, premarital sex was viewed as unchaste. Nevertheless, as time progressed, some religions began to tolerate premarital sex. Currently, few believers would follow the doctrine entirely. There were even some modern beliefs among the younger generation that being a virgin was a pure disgrace. Fanny, how about you? I dated a very attractive man. Then I discovered that he's married. Fanny lifted her right hand. Even though I've broken up with him, God still decided to punish me. That bastard. He harmed 2 women, Kyla said, gritting her teeth. How's he doing now? He's still having a good life. Have you never thought of revenge? How? Find a killer to kill him? For this kind of man, you should drag him into an alley and beat the shit out of him, Fei Lai said. Do you have any experience in this area? No, but I'm sure Chen does. Fei Lai flushed. Does Chen take these kinds of illegal deals? No. Chen's a doctor, not a thug. Fei Lai felt that she had overboasted. Actually, she was only joking. Why would she ask Chen Zhao to beat up a stranger just for Kyla and Fanny? If the person was fine, everything would be fine. But if something terrible happened to the person, it would be too late to regret it. Does Chen know anyone who can do that job? No. Let's ask him later. As soon as the 3 returned to shore, Kyla and Fanny found Chen Zhao. Chen, we would like to beat a man up. Do you have any method? Kyla asked directly. Fei Lai lowered her head and signaled Chen Zhao with her eyes. Unfortunately, Chen Zhao did not notice Fei Lai's look. Who is that? A man who had deceived Fanny and caused her current injury. Who exactly is he? The owner of a company. He's probably worth $10 million. That's easy. Go and find a few gangsters on the street. A few $1,000s will be enough to make them beat the man up, Chen Zhao answered without thinking. Can you help me to find a few gangsters then? Give me the details of Fanny's enemy. I'll see what I can do when I'm free. Chun Zhao said, I'm going to check on the grapes. The three ladies stayed in the forecourt and started chatting. Fei Lai, when will the grapes ripen? I have no idea. Fei Lai had decided to grow grapes only because Robio had told her that she should grow something, given that she had such an enormous piece of land. Robio had also given Fei Lai the bag of grape seeds. Fei Lai's interest was really short-lived. In fact, it would take at least 3 to 4 years from planting the grape seeds to making wine. Grape trees in the first 3 years would produce sour fruits that had little sugar. They would not be suitable for making wine or consumption. Some major wineries would not even use grapes from trees younger than 10 years old. Normally, they would repeatedly cut off parts of a grape tree and transplant them. Perhaps grape trees in those wineries came from trees that existed hundreds of years ago. Let's go and take a look together, Kyla suggested. What's there to see? When you make more wine, you have to give us a bottle. Kyla smiled. The three opened the door to the backyard and saw Chun Zhao doing weightlifting instead. When Chun Zhao saw them, he immediately dropped the barbell. That's a huge barbell. Kyla and Fanny looked at Chun Zhao's barbell, shocked. How heavy is it? A few 100 kilograms, Chun Zhao replied casually. I don't think it's only that, Kyla said. It looks huge, but it's actually not as heavy as you think, Chun Zhao said. It was a movie prop. When Steven filmed him on that time, I took it from the crew. Why would you do that? For Princess to play, Chun Zhao answered. Even if it's just a few 100 kilograms, it's still incredible. I think the world record is only around 300 kilograms? Fanny said. It's different. Chun Zhao shook his head. Weightlifters have to raise it overhead for 3 seconds. I'm only practicing grips. Chapter 571, Late Night. Kyla went up to try. The barbell had sunk into the dirt, so she couldn't even nudge it, let alone lift it. Fanny went to try too. The barbell didn't move a bit. Fei Lai didn't even try because she knew the actual weight of the barbell. It wasn't a few 100 kilograms like Chun Zhao said. It was 10 times that weight. Even the 3 of them working together wouldn't be able to move the barbell, let alone thin Fanny and Kyla. Kyla went up to squeeze Chun Zhao's arm. So hard. Chun Zhao moved slightly. What are you all in the backyard for? To look at the grapes. Then why are you all clustered over here? The 3 left in a chatter. Fei Lai, Chun is so strong. Can you take it? I can't, Fei Lai shot back. How about you two come help? You practice abstinence. You act like you're really willing to share. These grapes grow so quickly. Fanny kept turning around to look at Chun Zhao. The sky was darkening, so his figure wasn't as clear as before. The 2 women kept talking to Fei Lai, so Chun Zhao could only return to his room and sleep early. At night, Fanny slipped out of the guest room. She'd already gotten the idea to get things clear tonight. But she didn't know that the AI system was watching her every move. Today, it was the inferior demon Earth in charge of watching the surveillance camera. What was the most painful thing for an inferior demon? Sitting there and watching others do things while he couldn't do anything himself. That was the most painful. But there was nothing he could do. They had to listen to their master's orders. BC Earth said. The guest came out of the bedroom. Leave the living room immediately. Metal Wood, you 2 let the 3-headed dog lord and 9-headed snake lord leave the vicinity of the house so they're not exposed. Other nearby inferior demons, be careful. Don't get seen by the guest. By now, Fanny had gotten downstairs, but there was nothing in the living room. She walked to the front yard. An ivory moon rested in the sky above the river, reflecting in the water. The view was beautiful. Fanny was already a bit dazed. It was the kind of scene that could only be photoshopped or in a movie. It was so unreal and yet truly existing. Fanny looked away and went to the waterfall again. Mr. Snake, are you here? Unfortunately, the cave was empty. Fanny was disappointed, but she still believed what she'd seen. That night hadn't been a dream. It had truly happened. Because the moment she drank the purple brew, she clearly remembered that night, even the little details. Next day. Kyla, Fanny, won't you stay a few more days? Fanny reacted a bit slowly and Kyla tugged her. No, Kyla said, smiling. We won't disturb you two anymore. In the end, they were outsiders. They couldn't actually live here and disrupt Chen Zhao and Fei Lai's life. Okay. Come over when you're free. We will. Kyla and Fanny drove away. Fanny opened the car window, enjoying the breeze. The air was cool and fresh on the suburban highway. But Fanny sat unhappily in the car. Fanny, what's wrong? Kyla turned to ask while driving. Nothing. Fanny still hadn't moved on from that event. She wanted to thank the snake. She felt that the snake had once healed her palm and reduced her pain. But she couldn't see the snake again. Did you get up last night? Yes, Fanny replied. Did you see anything? Kyla asked. No, nothing. Fanny pouted and continued sadly. It's just like a regular house, but don't say anything. I know what I'm doing. I didn't plan on saying anything, Kyla said. Actually, when I smelled the wine yesterday, something flashed past my eyes. I remember clearly what I saw last night. So I believe Chun and Fei Lai are hiding something from us. You remembered something after smelling the wine too? Yeah, you too. Yes, I did too. Fanny nodded. So you really won't be able to find anything. They must have precautions. But their precautions aren't completely flawless, Fanny said. Oh, did you discover something? Did you forget? Chun had picked up that barbell before. It's indeed shocking to lift a few hundred kilograms, but just like he'd said, that isn't even the world record. That's not a few hundred kilograms, Fanny said. That's more than 5,000 kilograms. What? Kyla exclaimed. That's impossible. It's incredible, but it's the truth. I looked at the barbell's material. It's standard alloy steel, the metal used by the Olympics. I'd studied molecular material in college. If I can't even recognize this kind of common material, I would have completely wasted those studies. But that's 5,000 kilograms. 5 tons. It's shocking, right? Fanny looked at Kyla. So, if it's only from strength, then Chun is definitely a Superman. So, if he himself is a supernatural existence, then raising some supernatural pets seems to become logical, right? But we can't prove our belief. We don't have any direct evidence. We don't need evidence, Kyla said. Only the two of us need to know. Or do you want to publicize this? It doesn't benefit us and we'd lose 2 friends. Okay. I just wanted to prove that I'm right. Anyway, we'll have a chance in the future. We don't need to get an answer now. When we're close enough with them, they might tell us more secrets. There's no rush. Compared to the impatient Fanny, Kyla was more mature. Mirror Lake is such a nice place. Sad that Chun won't let us build another house here. They clearly don't want outsiders to discover their secret. The wine is so sweet. Fuck, put the cap back on. Don't let the smell escape. It'll affect the taste and quality. Chapter 572. Say no to throwing. Sorry, I've already told you my decision. Stop calling me, Tiger said, somewhat frustrated. Tiger, you have great potential, but potential isn't power. Even if you don't agree to our terms, we can still make you lose in the ring. By then you won't get anything. The voice on the other end was gloomy and threatening. Do whatever you like. I'm not scared of you. Young and hot-headed, Tiger knew no subtlety. Remember your words. Don't say that I didn't warn you. Tiger hung up at once. He would receive 4 or 5 such nuisance calls every day. As a professional boxer, he knew some of the secrets in the field. Some people would use illegal means to manipulate matches in order to win bets. Like the person who had just called him. Tiger did not even know who the person was. But the person had already called him 3 consecutive times, asking him to lose to his opponents. They would pay him $50,000. In other words, they wanted him to throw the matches. Just like how most boxers hated those who would throw a match, Tiger was also disdainful about it. He wanted to gain fame and fortune through dignified victories. He also believed that he was powerful enough to get whatever he wanted. At the same time, he would like to prove his worth to some people. Chan Zhao and Gaia were definitely among them. One of these two people had discovered his talents. He had given him another chance to stand in the ring. The other was his mentor. Gaia's help was no less than Chen Zhao's. Therefore, Tiger did not want to disappoint them. He wanted to tell them that they had not trusted the wrong person. That their choice was correct. Tiger, were you hiding? Come out now and train. Gaia's voice erupted from outside the changing room. Tiger ran out at once. Gaia widened her eyes at him. Why were you so slow? Do you think that you can stop training after winning those matches? Sorry, coach. Let's begin. Tiger was particularly serious. As a result, Gaia could not even be lazy. She even missed the times when she was Chen Zhao's boxing coach. Although Chen Zhao was outstanding, he did not have the inspiration to become strong. He had asked for the training himself, but he would seize all opportunities to be lazy. At night, everyone else had left. Gaia was exhausted herself. Tiger, that's enough for today. Coach, I would like to practice a bit longer. Then continue yourself. I need to go back. Remember to lock the door, Gaia said. Whether an athlete could become successful depended not only on his talents but also on how hardworking he was. Tiger's talents had been greatly boosted by Chen Zhao. He was also sufficiently diligent. Therefore, Gaia was confident that Tiger would certainly succeed. He would become a superstar in international boxing, starting from the BBL competition this time. He would conquer all enemies with his strength. Tiger only started to pack up when it was almost 11. He locked the door for Gaia. This was one of his benefits as Gaia's student. He could use the fitness center whenever he wanted to. In fact, he had the plan of opening a gym himself when he got rich. Of course, he had to do it somewhere far away. He knew that Zanla Douglas had opened a gym upstairs. If he recalled correctly, Zanla Douglas had been beaten up by Chen Zhao right here. Tiger did not want to be jointly attacked by Chen Zhao and Gaia. They were two monsters. Even if Tiger could become the world champion, he would not want to be in the same ring as any of them. Tiger stood by the roadside quietly waiting for the bus. He still had zero income at the moment. All his expenses were supported by Chen Zhao. Hence, he planned to buy a car as soon as he received his competition prize. Fortunately, the bus to reach home had very long service hours. Just then, Tiger's phone rang again. Hello. Tiger, let me ask you one last time. $50,000, lose the matches in the next 4 days. I don't care how much you're offering. I'm not throwing the matches. Tiger rejected the request righteously. This time, the other party hung up first. Just then, a car with its high beams on drove toward him. Tiger was not paying any attention and the car was extremely fast. Crash. Tiger only felt that something was wrong when he was hit. A few people alighted from the car and approached Tiger. At the moment, Tiger was lying on the ground, covered in blood. The few people immediately punched and kicked Tiger. Break his arms. Ah! Tiger screamed and fell unconscious. However, the next moment he was awakened by severe pain. Kid, this is what happens when you reject me. I told you I can make you get nothing. Now my words have turned into reality. Understand? Oh, Chun, something's happened to Tiger. It was Gaia's hurried voice. Chen Zhao looked at the time. It was 4 a.m. He said in a sleepy tone, Don't tell me he raped a girl on the street. I'll crack his balls myself. No, he's in the ICU now. He's been attacked. Chen Zhao was alerted at once. What? What happened? I'm not sure what's the exact situation either. The police found my number in his phone. They said Tiger's in the hospital. Why didn't the police call me? Did he not store my number in his phone? Fuck. You're still in the mood to joke? No, I need to know what's my position in his mind. Fine, he has recorded your number. But he's put your name as Monster. Asshole, Chen Zhao cursed softly. When can you come? I'll go now. Chen Zhao got out of bed quietly. Actually, Fei Lai had already woken up during the call. Are you going out? Tiger's injured. I need to go to the hospital. All right. Be careful. Love you. Chen Zhao bent to kiss Fei Lai. Then, he hastily put on his clothes. When Chun Zhao reached the hospital, he realized that apart from Gaia, there was another familiar person outside the ICU. "Hey, Miss Sharon, what a coincidence." Chun Zhao opened his arms, planning to give Sharon a warm hug. Chapter 573. Suspect. Sharon looked at Chun Zhao. She pulled her gun out at him. "If you take another step forward, I'll blast your brains out." Chun Zhao could only stop his movements. Sharon looked at him. "Why are you here? Do I have to answer you?" Chun Zhao glanced at Sharon and then turned to Gaia. "Let's go out to talk." Clenching her jaw, Sharon asked, "The person inside is your friend, right? Don't you want to catch the person responsible?" "I don't need you to worry." Chun Zhao waved his hand. "What if I know who it is?" Sharon asked. "Then go catch him. What are you doing here for?" "I don't have evidence." "You don't have evidence, but we do? We don't even know who it is." "That's why I need to get some valuable clues from your mouth," Sharon said. Chun Zhao looked at Gaia. "Do you have clues?" "No, I got this officer's call and hurried over." "What is your relationship with the victim?" Sharon asked. "I'm his coach," Gaia said. "His boxing and fitness coach." Chun Zhao thought for a moment. "I'm his sponsor." He was an illegal doctor. He wouldn't say that he's a doctor before a cop. "Do you know if he has any enemies?" "What kind of enemies?" "Those who had conflicts with him." "I hit him every day," Gaia said. "Does that count?" "No." Chun Zhao looked at Sharon. "You say you know who the guy responsible is. Can you tell us who did it?" "I don't know either," Sharon replied. "You fucking with me?" "Yeah, and what can you do about it?" "Fine. You win." Chun Zhao spat. He didn't plan on going up against Sharon. He couldn't offend American cops. Any slightly bigger actions could get him arrested. "Gaia, what exactly happened?" "I don't know. But I suspect that it's related to the bankers." "What bankers?" "The bankers for the competition's bet," Gaia said. "Is there a suspect?" "No. There are around 100 bankers and I'm not familiar with them. Tiger doesn't have any enemies. They wouldn't break his arms with a baton after crashing a car into him." Thud. Chun Zhao slammed a fist into the glass door. Sharon, standing in the distance, came over immediately. Looking at the glass on the ground, she said, "What are you doing?" "I just leaned on the glass and it broke by itself. Thankfully, I didn't get too close. Otherwise, I would have gotten hurt." Chun Zhao brushed off the shards on his hands. Sharon glanced at the glass on the ground. The thickness of the glass door wasn't something that a normal person could break. "Let's go talk over there." Chun Zhao pulled Gaia away. Sharon watched Chun Zhao's back, clenching her jaw. "So, you're saying that you don't have any clue either?" "I can have someone investigate, but it won't be that easy." Chun Zhao touched his nose. "Can we find the odds of those bankers?" Gaia's eyes brightened. This wasn't hard to find out. After all, the bankers had to reveal their odds to the bettors. They couldn't hide it even if they wanted to, so their primary price was very easy to find. "Wait, I'll call someone," Gaia said. "You can find out now." It was only 5 a.m. Everyone was probably sleeping. "This is when the gamblers are the most active," Gaia said. After a pause, Gaia put down her phone. Right now, for most of them, the odds for Tiger and his next opponent is 1.05 to 2.4. His rate is that much higher than his opponent? Chun Zhao was a bit surprised. Tiger KO'd all his opponents in the last 3 competitions. All the bankers have moved him up a tier. Chun Zhao squinted. What if news of Tiger getting hurt is spread now? They'll start to adjust the odds, or even lock the handicap. Then what if I bet that Tiger will win? Chun Zhao asked. Would they refuse to pay up? Most bankers wouldn't, at least on the surface. Gaia looked at Chun Zhao. You want to bet? Which odds have the biggest difference from others? Since Gaia suspected that the bankers or handicappers had attacked Tiger, then those bankers would definitely try to make a small fortune from this. Everyone knew that Tiger was clearly stronger than his opponent. The bankers could tell, the gamblers could tell as well. In a regular handicap, Tiger's loss rate would be much lower than his opponent. Only those irregular ones would publish a different rate to make a fortune from this. Gaia thought for a moment. Dawson Bank. Tiger and his opponent's rate is 7 to 1. Do you know who controls this one?
No.
Gaia shook her head. I don't care if they're responsible or not. Help me bet $50,000 there. Wait, don't do it yet. Do it tomorrow. What are you going to do? Wait for this build-up before betting. Then find some journalists to report about this. Other handicappers will definitely revise their odds too. Lend me some cash, Gaia said. I want to bet too. I'll do $50,000 like you. Oh, you promise you can get Tiger into the rings in 4 days, right? Of course. No problem. Gaia wiped her forehead and licked her lips. She looked excited. After all, this was a fortune. Anyone would be unable to suppress their excitement. Gaia and Tiger were different. Tiger was a pure athlete, a boxer. He was no different from regular people outside the rings. But if someone went up against Gaia, it would be suicide. She didn't have much power, but she had a lot of connections. If she wanted revenge, the consequences wouldn't be much smaller than those gangsters. Are you sure Dawson Bank are the ones who'd attack Tiger? I'm pretty sure, Gaia said. It's not a normal handicap. Tiger is so strong, but they actually raised his odds. They wouldn't dare to do that unless they're sure Tiger would quit the competition because of this. Is betting that shady? Most handicappers are normal. The biggest possibility is them taking all the money. This usually happens when the bankers lose and can't afford the bet. But some bigger bankers would use all sorts of methods to get a higher return, such as controlling the result of the game. Tiger's attack is a classic example. Chapter 574 Treatment. That day, all the newspapers and media in LA were filled with one headline: famous boxer attacked on the street. There were also a lot of pictures that proved how serious Tiger's injuries were. There was even an interview with his doctor that proved this news. Chun, Tiger's loss rate increased. How much is it now? 7.5 to 1. It seems lower than expected, Chun Zhao said. The highest it can be is 10:1. The current 5:1 is already really high, Gaia said. Buy it. Oh, and buy one for Tiger too. Then help him do the paperwork for getting discharged and bring him to my house. Okay. A while later, Gaia and Tiger arrived. Tiger had a cast on both arms. His face was covered in injuries and he had bandages all over. Mr. Chun. He started crying as soon as he saw Chun Zhao. No need to say anything. It's not your fault, Chun Zhao said. Tiger was still a bit fragile. His emotions were extremely unstable. Chun Zhao patted his shoulder. It's nothing. It's just a tiny injury, right? I'll let you stand on the podium again in 4 days. Mr. Chun, can I really? I'm so badly hurt. You can if I say so. You don't trust me? I do. In 4 days, beat up the opponent for me. Chun, do you need me to do anything? Chun Zhao took out a jug of purple brew. This is for you, but don't drink it here. Gaia looked at the bamboo. What's in it? Wine. But I plan on selling it to rich people, so the price is set really high. How high? $500,000. So, if I sell this, I can sell it for $500,000. This is my price for now, but I have to wait until my rich friends help promote it. I'm not sure if it'll succeed or not. You can keep it for now. After putting Tiger to sleep, Chun Zhao brought him into the spatial crack. He needed to give Tiger surgery here. His biggest injuries were his broken ribs and shattered arms. But to Chun Zhao, he could heal these in a short period. The surgery was a bit complex, but he would use magic to speed up the healing of the bones. Of course, it was best if he used the demonic crystal potion as the guiding drug. The perfect crystal potion could make someone's broken limbs regrow. Regular demonic crystal potions weren't as magical, but they were still very effective, especially for speeding up recovery. Chun Zhao used a tiny amount, but for Tiger, his injuries were still healing with a rate visible to the naked eye. He also gave Tiger some strength potion. The strength potion could help strengthen someone's fitness with obvious effects, especially with recovery. When Chen Zhao first used it, he recovered fully in 3 days from a gunshot wound that regular people needed more than a week to recover. Of course, Chen Zhao used the perfect strength potion. It was completely different from regular strength potions. Ever since he had living experiments in the spatial crack, Chen Zhao had many subjects he could experiment on. These test subjects gave him many good opportunities. Chen Zhao's medical skills were also improving rapidly. He could test all his theories and hypotheses on these living subjects. He didn't care about their life or death. Of course, he would revive them whenever possible. Even though he had a lot of living subjects, they weren't limitless. He still had to save a little. The best result for these living subjects was getting stabbed by Chen Zhao, and then receiving a few stitches. If they were unlucky, they would add another soldier to Blackie's skeleton army. Trigley walked over. "Master, how may I help you? How are the subjects feeling?" "Master, ever since you promised that they could leave the cell after completing 10 experiments and leave this place if they don't die in 20 experiments, they don't feel as hopeless. They even hope that you can choose them quickly." "Oh, that's good." Before, many subjects chose suicide because of their despair. Chen Zhao didn't want his subjects to all die, so he made that promise. Of course, they couldn't be actually freed even if they left. Chen Zhao only allowed them to breathe fresh air, but they were still enslaved. After asking about the situation inside the spatial crack, Chen Zhao left with Tiger. When Gaia saw Chen Zhao walk out of the basement with Tiger, she came over immediately. She knew that Chen Zhao's house had many secrets. After all, Chen Zhao let her see his supernatural power last time. She already knew that Chen Zhao wasn't a regular person. Of course, she wasn't a regular person either. "How is he now?" "He's recovered already," Chen Zhao said. "Then when will he wake up?" Chen Zhao patted Tiger's face. "Hey, wake up." Tiger opened his eyes blearily. "Mr. Chen, what time is it? How do you feel?" Tiger froze. Then he lifted his arms. "I think I feel great, Mr. Chen. I recovered?" "If you recovered, then why aren't you training? Go swim in Mirror Lake." "Huh? Now?" "Chen, he just recovered. Isn't this too brutal? Us two are going to drink. He can't drink, so it's not like he can watch us. It's the best choice to go and practice now." Tiger was speechless, but as an athlete, he indeed couldn't drink at will. Usually, athletes were forbidden to intake alcohol a week before a competition. For world-class competitions like the Olympics, they would have diet plans from 1 month before. "Okay, Tiger, go swim." Gaia didn't pity him either. Tiger could only jump into Mirror Lake with a sad face. Chen Zhao took out a chunk of wyvern meat. "Come, let's eat." Gaia smelled the grilled meat and immediately sensed the familiar aura. It's from last time, but since you've activated your bloodline, you don't have to worry anymore. Eat as much as you can. It won't be as dramatic as the first time, but it'll still help you." Hearing Chen Zhao's words, Gaia grew braver and stuffed a chunk of meat into her mouth. "Tastes even better than my first time." Chapter 575. Ben Freud. Well, no shit. The first time Gaia ate it, she hadn't activated her bloodline yet, so she'd almost died. Now, she didn't have any negative effects. Instead, the demonic power instead would give her more pure strength. So, of course it would taste better. Tiger watched as Chen Zhao and Gaia ate and drank on the lakeside. He wanted to too, but he couldn't mess with them. In addition to them, there was also something in the water that he couldn't mess with. Thankfully, this big guy usually didn't move. Princess came over to smooch off their food again. Gaia grabbed a piece of meat and gave it to Princess. To be honest, she was quite thankful towards Princess. If not for her, Gaia would never experience this kind of feeling. Superhuman strength was indeed able to make someone euphoric. Others couldn't do something, but she could. That was all people wanted. A while later, Tiger rested on the side of the lake. "Mr. Chen, Gaia, I can't swim anymore." Tiger was fit, but because of his physique, he couldn't do endurance training well. It was like how a fat person's weight was extra weight when exercising. "Okay, come up now," Chen Zhao said. Tiger could finally come back on land. He couldn't help but gulp when he saw Chunjiao and Gaia drink and feast. Drink some water first. Mr. Chun, can I eat something? Chunjiao and Gaia obviously couldn't let Tiger eat the meat. He would die. There's something in the meat that would affect your competition, so you can't eat it, Chunjiao said. But you can eat some fruit. I have quite a lot. It will be good for you. Okay. Tiger was a carnivore, but it was good enough that he had food now. After eating, fight with Princess. Oh, don't hit her head or else she'll bite you. Huh. Tiger stared at Princess' terrifying body. How could they fight? Would his fists have any effect on her fat? You can't keep hitting beanbags. You can view Princess as the strongest opponent in your entire career. Mr. Chun, even the strongest boxer won't be able to take a punch from Princess. You have to surpass all the boxers, so you obviously have to choose the strongest opponent. Stop talking. Fine. Tiger wanted to cry. Gaia, arrange a place for Tiger to stay before the competition. Don't let him be out in public. Gaia knew that Tiger couldn't be out in public. He might get attacked by the bankers again. If he was attacked again, he might get killed. After all, this was related to millions of dollars and even more bets. If those crazy and heartless bankers dared to attack Tiger, they definitely wouldn't mind killing either. They'd thought that breaking Tiger's arms would be enough. He would never appear in the ring a few days later. If they knew that Tiger had recovered, they would commit even worse crimes. It was like how bankers kidnapped a soccer player's family before the World Cup to threaten the player. Oh, boss. I think that Tiger's trainer took him out of the hospital. Whatever, don't bother with him, Ben Freud said indifferently. To Ben, he didn't have to care about a disabled man anymore. In reality, he didn't want to carry out this plan. A strong boxer's value was far more complicated than a single competition. Ben had wanted to get long-term control of Tiger. Then Tiger would work for him. As long as he got proof of Tiger faking his fighting, he would have blackmail material to control Tiger for life. In the future, he would be able to give Tiger orders at any point in a competition. This way, he'd have perfect control over every competition. His profits would be the highest too. Unfortunately, Tiger didn't plan on cooperating. This annoyed Ben. Of course, for the competition in 4 days, he'd already received $3 million in bets. He planned to wait 2 more days and publicize the information when more people placed their bets. This way he would earn more money. But the news was publicized the second day. This meant he'd make less money. Ben thought that Tiger must have figured out his goal and contacted the media himself. He wanted to give Tiger more trouble, capture him and teach him a lesson. But Tiger was already in hiding, so Ben gave up on that. There was no point in fighting with a disabled man. Boss, after we adjusted the odds, the bets for Tiger are still more than $500,000. 3 of the bets are $50,000. Will there be any problems? What problems? Ben said, not agreeing. They just think that it's fake news, so they want to go for the smaller odds. There are always gamblers at our bank. This time there's just a few more. No need to get scared. Why should we refuse them if they're willing to give us money? It was possible to win big with small odds, but it was very rare. Plus, in handicaps like this where the bankers control the result, the chances were practically zero. Why else did people say you lose 90% of all bets? These gamblers were mostly all bankrupt because bankers would never lose. They always had a reason behind their odds. Take Ben for an example. In the beginning, he put the odds as 7 to 1 to attract gamblers to bet on Tiger. Then he would use illegal methods to disqualify Tiger from the competition. This way, he would make profit without any worry. For the next 3 days, Tiger was stuck in the gym the entire time. Gaia closed the gym to cover things up. Of the entire gym, only Ola knew what was happening. She'd also listened to Gaia's suggestion and bet some money with the bankers. However, Gaia and Chunjiao bet money to mess with Dawson Bank. Ola bet with others, sometimes a few thousand, other times close to $10,000. This way, she wouldn't catch the attention of the bankers. Ola looked like an office worker, but she was just as involved in the gray areas as Gaia. Tiger trained like crazy. Anger burned in him. Gaia could see the difference in Tiger. His eyes had sharpened and even looked cruel. Before, Tiger had controlled his strength like Chen Zhao. But in the 3 days of confinement, he'd already broken a dozen sandbags. Chapter 256. Evil from the Heart. The next day, Risfar realized that he seemed to have really gotten younger. It was more obvious than yesterday. The muscles he'd gotten during school were back on him. This feeling was very strange. Risfar kept posing in the mirror. His heart jumped. Could it have been that bottle of wine? Had Chen Zhao invited him to drink the wine to make himself get younger? Risfar was 40 years old. He estimated that he looked to be around 30 years old now. To be honest, the change wasn't that big. He just looked a bit younger. If it really was the wine, then Del had drunk more than him, so he wondered what the man looked like now. Risfar put on his clothes and ran to Del's manor. He saw a muscular young man with a bare upper body. He was sunbathing next to the pool with just his boxers. Del. Who are you? Johnny. Del looked up. He didn't recognize Risfar immediately. Del, your body. I don't know. I don't know either. You look a decade younger. Del had been 28 years old, but because of his lifestyle, he'd gotten weaker. He'd looked like he was in his 30s. Now he looked totally young. And what was with that perfect body? Risfar felt that Del's change was even more dramatic than his. Risfar's body had also changed, but it wasn't that big. Is it Chen's wine? Risfar asked. Didn't you give Chen that bottle? It's the original bottle, but the wine can't be it. Or maybe he added something to the wine. Del fell silent. Risfar looked at him and asked, Del, do you know something? No. I don't know anything. To be honest, I'm jealous of your figure. Del was quite satisfied to get his body back too. Oh. In the morning, Chen Zhao kissed Fei Lai goodbye. Then he took the dragon meat out and fed it to Beelzebub, Raymond, Walter, Carrie, Abitos, and the silly twins. He also ate some dragon meat. It really tasted delicious. Just then someone knocked on the door. Chen Zhao opened it to see a stranger standing there. Mr. Chen, please help me. The stranger started begging him as soon as he started talking. Who are you? Spike. Chen Zhao furrowed his brows. I can't help you. Mr. Chen, please. I beg you. Chen Zhao hated Spike to the max. This businessman had no trustworthiness at all. After he lost his money, he came to Chen Zhao to make him solve the problem. Nothing this good happened. I wanted 1 ton of natural pearls. You wouldn't sell it to me, so I found it from someone else. I don't need it anymore. There's no use finding me. I have no choice now. I owe so much money to the bank and loan sharks. If you don't help me, I'll go bankrupt. This has nothing to do with me. Chen Zhao pushed Spike out. Just as he was about to close the door, Spike raised his gun. He stared at Chen Zhao menacingly. If you don't let me live, I won't make it easy for you either, you chink. Mr. Spike, do you know what you're doing? My life is ruined already, so I'll make you die with me. Chen Zhao raised his leg and kicked Spike without mercy. To him, Spike was just a weakling. Even an amateur like Chen Zhao knew that he had to lift the safety to fire with that gun. This meant that Spike just wanted to scare Chen Zhao into agreeing. Maybe he thought that he could force Chen Zhao to buy his stuff with this childish threat. However, after getting kicked, Spike clutched his stomach in pain while lifting the safety. Chen Zhao just stared coldly at Spike without continuing to attack. After all, he still had a mortal body. He didn't want to block the bullet with his flesh. Spike carefully retreated and escaped into his car. Chen Zhao immediately called the cops. A while later, Leonardo and a policewoman arrived. Chen, I heard that you met an armed robber. Yes. Chen Zhao described what had happened. Chen, I swear to you that I'll find the asshole that pointed a gun at you. I'll teach him a lesson. Leonardo, is this your partner? She's Rose, my new partner. Hello, Miss Rose. Hello, Mr. Chen. Leonardo mentions you often. I take it you two are close? Without a doubt. We won't bother you anymore. Goodbye. Bye. Chen Zhao waved. It seemed that Leonardo's spring was here too. Rose looked at Leonardo in a different way. Ever since David and Kate were captured by the Mexican gang, their feelings started heating up. The audience had been raucous, but it silenced instantly. Mouth wide open, everyone gaped at Tiger and Atkins who'd flown out of the ring. Even the referee was dumbfounded. It was over. Did it end just like that? No one. Tiger yelled. No one can use conspiracies to stop me. No one. Tiger. 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 There were only around 1,000 people present, but it sounded like 10,000 people. Everyone was yelling Tiger's name. The people who won cheered. Even the people who lost money cheered too. Tiger's punch was too spectacular. It was definitely able to rank in the top 100 matches of this year. That was the great thing about boxing. It was the shock brought about by aggressive force. A KO was the best explanation of a boxer's abilities. Tiger. 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 Chun Zhao was affected by the atmosphere and cheered for Tiger too. Only one person was pissed. He was extremely pissed because he'd lost a few $1,000,000. No, he lost close to 10 million. In the beginning, he'd received up to $300 million in bets. According to the 1/7 rate, he would have to pay around $500 million. Later, he received around $500,000. According to the 7/5 rate, that was around $400 million. Tiger's one punch made him lose around $900 million. How could Ben be happy? Tiger must die. He must die. In the distance, Chun Zhao received Gaia's call. Chun, I received the money. Those bankers are pretty good with paying up, Chun Zhao said, a bit surprised. I thought that they'd drag it out or refuse to pay. It's electronic. They can't delay it even if they wanted to. Tiger's punch made them lose tens of millions. They won't forgive him, right? Oh. Chapter 577, You go first, I'll take care of the back. Now we're waiting for them to fight first. Protect Tiger and don't let him get hurt. If he gets hurt again, I'm afraid he'll get PTSD. This will affect his future career. Okay. I understand. Chun Zhao hung up and continued cheering. Tiger, Tiger, Tiger. This punch was too refreshing. Boxing competitions should be like this, clean cut. After the competition, Chun Zhao waited outside. Tiger had to go through a drug test so he would come out slower. Chun Zhao wasn't in a hurry. Beep beep. Right then, a motorbike's headlights shone on Chun Zhao's face. He covered his eyes and looked. The rider was familiar. Hey Sharon, are you here to pick me up? Chun Zhao realized that it was actually Sharon. Sharon rolled her eyes at him. Everyone in the audience has left. Why are you still here? You watched that fight too? How about it? Isn't it awesome? Sharon had indeed watched the fight, and she had to admit that Tiger's performance was shocking. That punch had been too beautiful. Forcing a 100-kilogram man off the arena with one punch was a beautiful scene for any boxing lover. Of course, Sharon hadn't come to watch the competition. She'd come to see if she could find any clues or information. She didn't think that Tiger would actually come out. She'd been the one who'd taken Tiger to the hospital, so she had an idea about his injuries. Unexpectedly, Tiger had actually recovered in a short few days. However, because of this, she believed that the bankers would take revenge on Tiger for their losses. This was why she was waiting here. She just didn't think she'd run into Chun Zhao here. Right then, Tiger walked out of the arena. Tiger, I am a police officer. I have some questions for you. Tiger, ignore her. She's just a traffic cop who gives out parking fines. I'm a patrol officer, not a traffic cop, Sharon corrected. I have enforcement powers. So are you interrogating a suspect now? Chun Zhao asked. Can you not cause trouble? You gave me so many fines, Chun Zhao complained. Don't you know how much I've lost? If you can make Tiger cooperate, I promise I'll turn a blind eye if I meet you again. No, you've already hurt me psychologically. Tiger, let's go. Okay, Mr. Chun. Tiger only listened to Chun Zhao. Sharon followed behind, not giving up. When they reached the parking lot, the surrounding cars suddenly turned their headlights on. At the same time, more than 30 people ran in from all over. They held all sorts of bats and looked really menacing. Chen Zhao saw the guy at the front. He seemed to have been the one who'd gotten into a fight with Chen Zhao in the stands and got taught a lesson. Tiger, do you know that I lost $10 million because of your one punch? Ben led his dozen guys and glared sinisterly at Chen Zhao. Seeing the dozen men, Tiger was actually a bit afraid, but he still looked at Chen Zhao. Hey, it's that Asian monkey. Good, great. I was wondering where I could find you. I can't believe that the two people I hate the most tonight are right before me. Ben's eyes were filled with happiness when he saw Chen Zhao. Earlier, when Tiger had hit Atkin off the podium with one punch, Ben had forgotten everything because of his hatred for Tiger. But seeing Chen Zhao, the humiliation he'd felt in the stands made him hate Chen Zhao too. Police freeze. You're suspected of public violence, and... Suddenly, a bat crashed down on Sharon. She turned to the side, dodging the attack. Reflexively, she went for her gun, but then she realized that she didn't bring her gun today. She had to go past security to enter the arena today. Even though she was a police officer, her gun wouldn't be able to get past security if she wasn't on a mission. You're assaulting the police, Sharon yelled. This girl looks nice, Ben said. Use her as the ransom. I'll cut off your limbs and see if you can still be jumping around in a few days. Ben never acted in legal ways. He didn't care about assaulting the police at all, especially a female officer who didn't even have a gun. Would saying sorry work now? Chen Zhao asked, sighing. Say it louder. I can't hear. Ben turned his head, acting like he was listening carefully. Fuck you. Chen Zhao stuck his middle finger up. Sharon pulled Chen Zhao aside. Idiot, you'll only piss him off. Move aside. I'll keep them here. You two run. Just then Ben's guys charged over. Sharon did a beautiful sweep, toppling a gangster right there. She also threw another gangster over her shoulder at the same time. Clap, clap, clap. Woo! Chen Zhao cheered on the side. Beautiful, beautiful. Tiger rolled his eyes. Chen Zhao was just watching the show. Sharon turned to glare at him. You're still not going. They blocked the path. We have no escape route, Chen Zhao said helplessly. How about you help us clear the path? Just then, a gangster attacked Sharon from the back. The metal rod slammed into her shoulder. Sharon had good fighting techniques, but she was still human. She was only a bit stronger than regular people. The bat wasn't light at all. However, Sharon reacted very quickly. She turned around with an elbow jab and the gangster who'd attacked her was flipped onto the ground. Go, Sharon! Sharon was so annoyed. This guy was just taking pleasure in her misery. You asshole, Sharon cursed. I should just leave. Aren't you happy to have me cheering you on? Shut up and stop distracting me. You're the one who talked first, Chen Zhao said, pouting. Just then Sharon was hit again. This bat hit her arm and now she couldn't move her right arm anymore. Chen Zhao moved forward and pulled Sharon back. What are you doing? Sharon yelled. Tiger, protect this lady officer. Yes, Mr. Chen. Sharon, will I get arrested for accidentally killing someone in this situation? You'll be fine even if you kill them all right now, Sharon said. But the biggest possibility is that you're the one who gets killed. Chapter 578. He has met all the requirements to become an asshole. Remember what you said. Bang! Before Chen Zhao could finish, he was already hit in the back of his head by a stick. Chen Zhao rubbed the back of his head. It hurts. Sharon face-bombed. How could it not hurt? It was a baseball bat. Chen Zhao was lucky to not have his skull fractured. Just then, the gangster lifted the bat again and struck at Chen Zhao's face. Crack. Chen Zhao would clearly not allow the disfigurement strike to land on his face. He immediately broke the gangster's wrist with one hand and punched his stomach with his right fist. The gangster covered his stomach, after which he knelt on the ground, his body twitching lightly. The next moment, Chen Zhao raised his foot and kicked the gangster out. Sharon lifted her eyebrows in surprise. Chen Zhao was not huge, but his kick was pretty strong. He had actually managed to send someone 3 meters away. Seemed like he was not that weak. Thud. Just as Sharon was still thinking, Chen Zhao suddenly swept out his arm. A gangster was almost split into two together with his bat. When Sharon saw the gangster being hit by Chen Zhao's hand, she thought she was watching a slow-motion scene. The gangster's expression became painful, his body became distorted, and he eventually flew backward. Ah, it's been so long since I last hit someone. What an amazing feeling. Chen Zhao stretched his arms, exercising his shoulder bones. Tiger had just beaten someone up today in the ring. He also felt great. However, after seeing what Chen Zhao had just done, Tiger thought that he would never train with Chen Zhao again. Go, what are you waiting for? Kill them. Especially that Asian. Ben Freud roared. Arg! A gangster was sent into the air by Chen Zhao's punch. Sharon watched the fight at the side. She had learned how to fight before. She knew that the strength needed to send a person vertically upward was completely different from what Tiger had done in the ring. In addition, the two punches also had different powers. It was easy for Tiger to use all his strength in the right hook. On the other hand, Chen Zhao could use at most half of his strength in the vertical uppercut. But he still managed to send the gangster 2 meters into the air with the blow. Has he always been so strong? Sharon asked in disbelief. She had originally thought that Chen Zhao did not know how to fight. When Chen Zhao fought, she thought that he was a mere novice. However, from the look of it, Chen Zhao was in fact a skilled fighter. One time he broke both arms of a top professional boxer in one punch. That person's quit professional boxing now, Tiger said. I'm Mr. Chen's student. Sharon found Tiger's words more unbelievable. That asshole is actually so powerful. But he actually watched me fight just now. I was hit so many times. He has met all the requirements to become an asshole. Suddenly, Chen Zhao's eye of shadow vision opened. Danger! Instinctively, Chen Zhao dodged to the side. Bang! Blood erupted from the chest of the gangster before him. Ben Freud was pointing a gun at Chen Zhao. Unfortunately, Chen Zhao was too fast. He could not lock onto Chen Zhao. Chen Zhao covered his body with Qingyi armor at once. He had never used Qingyi armor to block bullets, so he did not know how effective it would be. Anyhow, Qingyi armor could block some damage from the bullet. Chen Zhao dodged left and right. Ben Freud fired 3 times but did not hit Chen Zhao at all. However, Chen Zhao had already charged before him. Ben lowered the muzzle and pointed at Chen Zhao. Locked! Ben was about to shoot. The next instant he saw his arm flying in the air. Sharon and Tiger watched in horror. They saw Chen Zhao suddenly grab Ben's arm and shoulder, and then simply pulled it. Immediately, Ben's arm made a perfect trajectory in the air. Tiger paled as he recalled the past. He suddenly realized how lucky he was. He had actually challenged Chen Zhao in the past. It was good to be alive. Sharon was similarly dumbfounded. Little did she expect Chen Zhao, who would bullshit with her every time after receiving a ticket, to have such a terrifying side. My arm. Arg. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you. Chen Zhao grabbed Ben's right shoulder with one hand. Crack. He crushed Ben's right shoulder directly. Arg. Say sorry, Chen Zhao said. Arg. Chen Zhao twisted Ben's ear. If you can't hear me, you won't need your ears anymore. Sorry. 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 Ben obviously did not expect Chen Zhao to be so frightening. That's better. Chen Zhao let go of his ear but instead grabbed his chin. But your pronunciation is worse than a foreigner like me. Let me correct it for you. Sharon covered her eyes. She saw Chen Zhao kill Ben. No, he didn't kill him directly. Perhaps Ben could still survive. But his chin was totally crushed. Chen Zhao looked at the rest, after which he rubbed the blood on his hands. Everyone shivered uncontrollably. There was no way he was human. How could he do such a cruel thing? Miss Sharon, can I kill all of them? Sharon's face darkened. Even though Chen Zhao was acting in self-defense, if he continued killing, it would become murder, or more accurately, massacre. The gangsters lowered their bats. They did not dare to fight Chen Zhao anymore. It was horrifying to see Chen Zhao fight. Those who had been hit by him were either dead or disabled. Who wants to die? If you don't want to die, drop your bats now, Sharon shouted. Meanwhile, she grabbed her phone to call her colleagues. A fight has just happened in the parking lot outside LA Memorial Coliseum. There are casualties. Call the ambulance. Are any of you still unhappy? You can fight him now. The gangsters bullied the weak but feared the strong. Nevertheless, Chan Zhao was heavily outnumbered, so they were somewhat reluctant. Just then Chan Zhao punched the hood of the car beside him. With a loud bang, the hood was completely distorted, depressed in the center and raised at the sides. Do it quickly if you want to. I don't mind breaking all of your bones. Thud thud. Finally, the first gangster dropped his bat, and then the second and the third. You need to pay for deliberate damage to the car. Sharon looked at the car that Chan Zhao had destroyed. I'll include it in the report. Chan Zhao was annoyed at this very serious policewoman. How about I kill you too? Chapter 579. A misunderstanding. The police came. David brought his men over. Chan Zhao and David hugged warmly. Chun, it's my birthday this weekend. Instead of asking about the situation, David's first words were to invite Chan Zhao to his party. Sunday? Chan Zhao asked. Fei Lion, I'll be there. Oh, and how long will I have to stay at the station? Okay. Let's talk about what happened here. I hope you can give me a good reason. Otherwise, you'll miss my party. Your subordinate will tell you what happened, Chan Zhao said. Leader, Sharon said. These people purposely attacked us. That guy even shot at Mr. Chen with a gun. Are you hurt? David asked. I'm fine. Sharon had gotten hit on her shoulder and arms, but she could take it. And him? David looked at Tiger. My student Tiger, professional boxer and a college student at UCLA. The one I crushed the jaw of is one of the bankers. He'd attacked Tiger a few days ago. This time, because Tiger won the competition, he lost a fortune, so he carried out this attack. Okay, take your student back now. I'll call you if it's needed. Thanks, David. We're brothers. Chan Zhao led Tiger to the car. Tonight, Tiger had actually gotten frightened. Chan Zhao had fought many times before him, but even at UCLA, he'd only broken Zanla Douglas' arm. The other students had gotten beaten up, but they'd only needed casts. No one had any lasting effects. This time, Chan Zhao's actions had been bloody. He'd ripped the man's arm straight off. That bloody scene increased Tiger's fear and respect for Chan Zhao. Tiger, I helped you bet $50,000 at that bastard's bank. According to the odds, you'll get $375,000. Huh. Tiger was dazed. He didn't think that Chan Zhao would actually help him bet. No, instead of betting, it was more like giving him money. If this bet had lost, Chan Zhao would be the one paying out of his pocket. In other words, it was Tiger's if they'd won and Chan Zhao's if they'd lost. Tiger was suddenly so touched. However, I can't give you this money at once, Chan Zhao said. I'll give you $20,000 for winning this round. You can use the money to help your family. Of course, you can also use it to improve your own life. But you're just starting your career. Don't think about using the money to go party and fuck around. I'll allow you to rest occasionally, but if you dare to touch things you shouldn't, I'll throw you to the sharks. Mr. Chun, I swear I'll never touch those things. Chan Zhao knew that the sports and entertainment circle had high drug rates. Many entertainment and sports celebrities ruined their lives over these things. So, as long as Tiger was still under his control, Chan Zhao wouldn't allow him to touch those things. Even if he so much as tried them, Chan Zhao would make him regret it. Mr. Chun, will those people take revenge on my family? Why do you think Gaia didn't come today? Chan Zhao glanced at Tiger. The scariest thing about Gaia isn't how good she is at fighting. Instead, it's that she can make anyone she wants disappear without a sound, even a gangster. Tiger shuddered. As expected, he couldn't mess with either Chan Zhao or Gaia. He promised himself to never get into a conflict with them. Chan Zhao patted Tiger. Okay, you're home. After dropping Tiger off, Chan Zhao planned on going home too. But after 3 blocks, someone suddenly crashed into Chan Zhao's car. Chan Zhao stopped, but then a figure rushed out. Get out now. The man came to the window, aiming a gun at Chan Zhao. Chun Zhao rolled down his window and swore. Fuck you. Fuck Chun, why's it you? Fuck, that's my question. Why is it you? Chun Zhao was speechless. So was Morguri. This was like a flood destroying a water god's temple. Just then a few other people rushed over. Seeing Morguri standing beside Chun Zhao's car, they started shooting. Morguri ducked straight into Chun Zhao's car. You want to kill me? I didn't know it's you. Morguri was frustrated too. Chun Zhao was the one he trusted the most in the world. Chun Zhao was also the only one he wouldn't hurt. But who would have known that he would run into Chun Zhao when he wanted to steal a car? Faced with so many people shooting, Chun Zhao could only duck below the windshield. Floor it and charge over, Morguri said. I'll take care of the rest. Without looking up, Chun Zhao floored the gas pedal and went for the people. They hurriedly dodged to the side, but because Chun Zhao couldn't see, the car crashed into the railing. Morguri had already slipped out of the car. Bang bang. Chun Zhao saw from the rearview mirror that Morguri had killed 2 people. He also slipped out of the car and moved to the people's side. They currently had a few bushes between them and Morguri and were shooting into it. They were completely focused on Morguri and didn't notice Chun Zhao. Taking a deep breath, Chun Zhao gestured at Morguri. Morguri's expression went blank. What did that gesture mean? Suddenly, Chun Zhao charged at the people's backs. He was too fast. They couldn't even process what was happening before Chun Zhao had already charged into them. Morguri was unable to shoot now. He didn't care about anyone else, but he couldn't shoot at Chun Zhao. Ah! With Chun Zhao so close by, the people panicked too. They hurriedly tried to shoot at Chun Zhao, but they were beaten to the ground before they could fire. The entire process was less than 10 seconds. Morguri looked at Chun Zhao standing in the middle. He hesitated a few seconds before walking over. The first thing he did was to add some more bullets into the people on the ground. Can you tell me what just happened? Chun, pretend you didn't see this. This has nothing to do with you, alright? Morguri didn't want Chun Zhao to get involved in this. Chun Zhao just looked at Morguri and he knew that he couldn't hide it anymore. He could only explain, I killed their boss. You can recover your status by killing their boss. I'm mustering my men from before, Morguri said. Do you need my help for anything? No. I'm mostly done. He just didn't want Chun Zhao to get involved. Then what about Victoria? Chapter 580. The embarrassing Spider-Man costume. Still in that cave. I came out to kill people. Obviously, I wouldn't bring her along. Is she doing fine? Yeah, apart from being a bit mischievous, Morguri nodded. To Chun Zhao, it was only an interlude. He did not plan to get himself involved in Morguri's business. Morguri was determined to remain in the profession. Chun Zhao would not say anything. He was also not in the position to say anything. Just like how he had helped Morguri, Chun Zhao believed that Morguri would help him too should he need it. Of course, it was their own choices. The next day, Tiger's name appeared in the sports headlines. Tiger became popular, extremely popular. The video of him blasting his opponent Akin out of the ring in one punch continued to be played on various sports media. Boxing had a broad audience in America. Tiger appeared before the public like a new superstar. Chun Zhao could not even remember how much news about Tiger he saw in the next few days. Some of the media managed to dig out most of the inside story, such as what Tiger had said during the match. Of course, Tiger also enjoyed the pleasure of being famous. Wherever he went, he would attract countless stares, especially in the fitness center and the college's boxing club. Everyone viewed him as a hero. Nevertheless, there were also people who had doubts about him. They believed that Tiger was only lucky. Very quickly, he would vanish into the masses as most newbies would. However, Tiger managed to shut the mouths of all those who questioned him with another match. He KO'd another opponent in one punch. Moreover, his opponent was a well-known boxer who was pretty strong. Now, Tiger was already in the final 4 of the BBL. There were only 2 rounds left, the semifinals and the finals. Tiger's betting odds were already very low. Nonetheless, the bankers all knew what had happened to Dawson Bank. Nobody dared to assault Tiger anymore. After all, the betting markets of a state-level competition probably involved only a few $1,000,000. After being distributed to the various bankers, they would receive at most $1 million, or maybe not even 100,000. The benefits were not big enough for them to take high risks to control the match. Oh, Feilai, you've already been putting on your makeup for half an hour. Do I not even have the right to put on makeup? Questioning a woman about her makeup time was a sure way to enrage her, including Feilai. No, I'm just wondering why you're putting makeup. Even if you don't, you're still the prettiest. Humph. Feilai widened her eyes at Chen Zhao. Chen Zhao did not dare to say anything again. He waited in the living room quietly. After another half an hour, Feilai finally came out. It was David's birthday party today. While they did not have to dress up too formally, any party was like war to a woman. The makeup should neither be too solemn nor too casual. Anyway, Chen Zhao could not understand it like most men. Nonetheless, he only had to know how to flatter. This was an essential skill that all men who had a desire to survive should have. Feilai, aren't you wearing the red moon heart? I'm not the spotlight today. It belongs to David and Kate. Feilai rolled her eyes at Chen Zhao. Wearing the red moon heart is way too flaunty unless I want to destroy our friendships. Chen Zhao felt that a woman's world was too complicated. Anyway, David and he were not that complicated. As Chen Zhao drove, Feilai was still doing her makeup in the front passenger seat. He could not tell what Feilai was doing. Was there any difference at all? 20 minutes later, they arrived at David's house. Kate opened the door. She had clearly put a lot of effort into her makeup too. She hugged Feilai, after which she invited the two into the house. Soon Leonardo arrived, followed by Sienna, Chris and Cheryl. Chen Zhao and Feilai had brought the purple brew as a present. The wine was in some sense both cheap and expensive. Chris, Sienna, who's this little beauty? Leonardo asked. She's Cheryl. Sienna patted Cheryl's shoulder. Cheryl opened her hand, where there was a bracelet. Hello, David. Sienna and Chris asked me to give this to you. This bracelet can protect you from evil. Perhaps only Kate and Leonardo did not know that most people in the house knew about the supernatural world. Great, thank you. But don't you think that it's slightly inconvenient for a cop like me to wear such a bracelet? David grabbed the golden bracelet. It was indeed beautiful. He had no idea what material it was made of, but it was definitely not gold. With his knowledge of Sienna and Chris, they were not rich, so there was no way they would give him a gold bracelet as a gift. Chen Zhao took out the purple brew which was wrapped in a gift box and gave it to David. Then it was Leonardo's turn. To everyone's speechlessness, Leonardo took out a Spider-Man garage kit. Fine, it was Leonardo's interest. David happily accepted the item. The party formed a circle, eating, drinking, and chatting. When Chen came to my birthday party that time, he cosplayed as Spider-Man. Leonardo said. Oh, Leonardo, when's your birthday? Kate asked. 3rd of January, Leonardo replied. Kate, are you going to give me a present? How about you introduce me to a girlfriend instead? I really want to see Chen cosplaying Spider-Man, Kate said with a smile. Wait, I have a Spider-Man costume at home. Chen, do you want to try it? David said. What? Why do I have to cosplay Spider-Man? I don't like Spider-Man. Come, try it. Ignoring Chen Zhao's refusal, the group approached him and attempted to remove his shirt. Fine, fine. Let go of me. I'll go and change myself. Damn, why do I have to dress up like a clown? Chen Zhao went to the room and changed into the Spider-Man costume. He looked at himself in the mirror. No matter how he looked, he found himself really awkward. Chen, stop hiding in the room. Come and let us see. Haven't you seen in the past? Why do I have to do it again? I haven't, Kate said. You're always so serious. It's rare to see you embarrassed. Take a video. Everyone took out their phones, including Feilai and Cheryl. Didn't you already make videos that time? Chen, make a pose. Shoot the webs. Climb the wall. Hang upside down on the beam. There isn't a beam in the house. Chen Zhao's head hurt. David was the birthday boy, so he had to cooperate. Remember this. When it's my birthday, I'll make all of you regret it. Chapter 581, Wine Tasting Party. On the way home, Fei Lai looked at Chen Zhao with a smile in her eyes. Chen, you don't like tight clothes.
No.
Chen Zhao shrugged. But those tight clothes embarrassed me. Actually, you look hot even when you wear that. Then how about we cosplay tonight? I'm driving. Don't move. Oh, did you feel that Kate and David are kind of weird? It's normal, Chen Zhao said. The last time we had our housewarming party, Kate didn't come. David kept hesitating when talking about Kate and even avoided the question. Will they break up? Chen Zhao didn't reply. It wasn't good to wonder if another couple would break up. Though Chen Zhao did think that Kate and David wouldn't last long. They both had their own ideas. One was a reporter, one was a police officer. These two jobs both had irregular schedules. If they spent most of their time on work, they would definitely have less time for their relationship. When Chen Zhao and Fei Lai weren't at work, they spent most of their time together. That was why their relationship was also stronger than David and Kate. Oh, Kate, it's already late. Go rest. David walked out of the bathroom to see Kate still working at her table. Today was his birthday party, but after his friends left, the atmosphere in the house cooled. They didn't have the passion from when they first met. Now they were familiar yet distant lovers. Because of their work, it was difficult to find time for each other. In the 4 months of knowing each other, they didn't even have time to eat a meal together. Especially last time for Chen Zhao and Fei Lai's housewarming party, Kate had missed it to do work and they'd had a big fight. Okay, I'll rest after I finish this. Kate didn't look back. She was holding the picture of Chen Zhao dressed as Spider-Man. These pictures looked funny. David was also in the picture, laughing happily. He only had that genuine and relaxed smile when he was with his friends. Suddenly, a strange thought flashed past Kate's mind. January 3rd, Leonardo's birthday. Kate found a video on the computer. This was the footage from the building climbing group. It was also filmed on January 3rd, and the star of the video was also wearing a Spider-Man costume. Kate compared the video with the picture. She sharpened the video and then transferred the picture into her laptop to compare further. The software displayed that the two were 99% similar. Kate's expression changed. Chen Zhao was the man. How could it be Chen Zhao? Kate hesitated. She didn't know how to take care of this. She knew what had happened in CL building on the night of the 3rd. Philip Quinn, the millionaire living in the penthouse, had been attacked. According to the hypotheses, the attacker had broken in. This meant that Chen Zhao had climbed more than 100 floors to attack Philip. However, Kate also knew about Philip's past. He was a complete and utter bastard. In the end, Kate chose to press delete. She would pretend that this never happened or that she didn't know anything at all. Not only was Chen Zhao a friend of David, he was also her friend. Disregarding Chen Zhao's status and what he'd done, Kate didn't think that he was wrong. Perhaps Kate couldn't be a hero. Thus she would just stay silent. Oh, hello, Mr. Rasfa. I'm very honored to receive your invitation. Rasfa looked at the guests in the manner. They were all top figures of LA. Of course, they all had a similar trait, rich. Very rich. Right then Paul walked over. Sir, the guests are pretty much all here. Rasfa nodded. Get things prepared. He took out a goblet and clinked his spoon onto it. Ladies and gentlemen, can I say something? Rasfa had the right to speak among these guests. Roski, I didn't invite you here for a blind date. Can you let go of the lady beside you? All the guests chuckled. Roski shrugged helplessly. Rasfa, your wine tasting party is too boring. You didn't even prepare a bottle of wine. What are we supposed to taste? The wine will be here soon. Rasfa waved and Paul brought the purple brew out with both hands. I bought this wine from the Far East with a great fortune. Everyone looked at the purple brew's exquisite packaging. They were curious about the wine that made Rasfa invite so many upper-class figures. Rasfa, there's only one bottle, a bearded man asked. Are you sure it's enough for all of us? This is wine tasting, not an all-you-can drink. Rasfa replied easily. After all, he had a few of these banquets, feasts, and parties every month. He'd dealt with all sorts of things before. Today was just a small matter. Oh, I have a question before the wine tasting begins, Rasfa said. What is your deepest memory? No need to answer me now. He picked up the purple brew and opened it. In an instant, the mesmerizing fragrance seeped into the crowd. People who smelled the wine for the first time would involuntarily think of a certain point of their life or a relationship. It might not be romance but family or friendship. Rasfa was already immune to the fragrance, but if he drank it, memories would still flash past his eyes. He'd already forgotten some of them, but he would remember again after drinking. This was a special experience. Rasfa even thought that this wasn't wine but emotions. Some of the guests in the hall were murmuring. Others shed tears by themselves. Even others were already sobbing and breaking down. Strong and deep memories and feelings all flooded out now. Even the ones who thought they were strong couldn't resist the intense emotions. They were all immersed in the feelings. Rasfa smiled at the tearful guests. He had a satisfied expression. Even though he'd had the same reaction when he first tried the wine, at least he didn't lose it in front of so many people. Chapter 582, Endless Aftertaste. Gradually, people began to recover. Those who woke up first looked around them, after which they wiped their tears away. The emotions were slowly fading. It was complicated and yet memorable. It was as if they had just been drunk, or had an unforgettable date. Ding ding. Ladies and gentlemen. Rasfa clearly did not plan to let them continue to be immersed in their memories and emotions. Rasfa, what's that? Magic? Can't you smell it? It's the wine. No, it's not wine. Feeling. I recalled my mother. I thought I'd forgotten about it, Carrie. Ladies and gentlemen, would you like to have a glass? Another round of memories. Rasfa waved his hand and the servants presented everyone with a glass of wine. It was a wonderful feeling. Memories might be painful but people still wanted more. However, there was only one glass of wine. Everyone was drowning in emotions, but the feeling was slowly dying. Mr. Rasfa, can I have another glass, please? Thanks, the lady said. I would like to have another glass too. Feels great. Sorry, but I'm afraid I won't be able to satisfy your requests, Rasfa said with a smile. Why? Why are you being stingy with just a glass of wine? You've seen for yourself there's only a bottle. At least I only have this bottle. I've given all of it to you. Rasfa knew well how the rarity of an item would affect its value. If he chose to satisfy all the guests at once, they would instead not cherish it. By allowing only a tiny sip, the guests would enjoy the moment even more. It was Rasfa's personal experience. The best thing was one that a person wanted but could not get. You should have prepared more. Rasfa, you shouldn't treat your guests like this. Everyone was complaining, even those who had painful memories. They were similarly displeased. Actually, what they had experienced was not pain, but rather cherishable thoughts. But before they were satisfied, the feelings had already died down. It was like running out of alcohol after getting tipsy. Or like two lustful people who were about to do it realizing that they had no condoms. Quiet, quiet, Rasfa called. Everyone, you should understand by now how precious the wine is. It's not that I'm unwilling to prepare more. I don't actually have more. Mr. Rasfa, may I know where you got the wine from? From the East. It's a very old winery. Do you know how much I paid for the wine? Not money, but I made many promises, Rasfa said. The mysterious East. A dreamlike wine. It's just a glass of wine, but I've experienced life. I feel younger. I've had another date. Rasfa, when you get this wine again, can you inform me immediately? Or maybe I'll buy it directly. Mr. Rasfa, me too. No matter how much it cost. Fine, if I get more purple brew next time, I'll tell you, Rasfa said, smiling. From the reactions of these celebrities, the wine tasting session was clearly a success. The guests reluctantly left one after another. In the end, the last guest approached Rasfa. Rasfa. Bach. Rasfa hugged his old friend. You cunning asshole. Wine from the East? I don't believe that, Bach said, laughing. Of course, Bach knew Rasva's aim. He was trying to either gain benefits or expand his social circle. As long as everyone craved the wine, Rasva could easily extend his social network. While Bach wanted the wine too, he knew that Rasva would not agree. You didn't stay to curse me, did you? Is there any use in cussing you? Will you tell me the source of the wine? Of course not. Don't even think about it. I'll be holding an auction on the top floor of Hilda Hotel, 7th of May. Get me a bottle of the wine to put on the auction, Bach said. It can attract more rich people to the event. Bach was a businessman, specialized in the sales of top-tier luxury goods. He did not have a company behind him. Instead, he would fight for goods and bidders with his own reputation. Nevertheless, he had been in this profession for 50 years already. The auction deals made under him summed to a total of over $10 billion. What did that mean? On average, his auctions would make deals totaling $200 million every year. This was more than most auction companies in the world. In some sense, Bach was himself a brand. The number of rich people and celebrities that Bach knew was a few times or even a few dozen times more than Rasva. Some celebrities in LA might not know Rasva, but they definitely knew Bach. That's going to be difficult. The supply is very limited, Rasva said, looking like he was in a difficult position. I can promise you that the final price of the wine will be at least 500,000. Asshole, are you looking down on me? You think I need 500,000? Fine, I promise it'll be at least $1 million. Anything lower, I'll arrange a bidder to raise it to $1 million. As a famous person in the world of auctions, Bach was familiar with all business tricks. Some items might not be that valuable by themselves, but they could attract many bidders. An example would be the purple brew. Therefore, Bach was willing to pay for the benefits. I can't answer you right now, Rasva said. Hey, don't be greedy. The final price of the 30-year-old wine from French Village wasn't even $1.5 million in the last 3 years. Do you think the purple brew is not as good as the 30-year-old wine from French Village? Rasva, how old are you again? Stop saying such a stupid thing. The value of an item may not depend on how good it is, but rather on its reputation. If it's you, would you spend $1.5 million on the purple brew, or on the 30-year-old wine from French Village? My answer doesn't mean anything because I'll never spend $1.5 million to buy a bottle of wine, no matter what wine it is, Bach said calmly. $1.5 million. That's my bottom line, Rasva said. Bach's eyes sparkled. He was hesitating. The wine was indeed a perfect brew. But could it really attract enough rich people? 2 days later, Stephen will hold a party. He also has a bottle of wine which he'll open at the party. Asshole, you're not the only one with the wine. Ha! Chapter 583, Old Bastard Attacks. Chun, good news. Your wine will be auctioned at Hilda Hotel's special auction on May 7th. I can also promise that it won't be sold for less than $1.5 million. What do I have to pay? At least 2 bottles per month. No way. You said yourself supply and demand. I think only 1 bottle per month will make you think of me. Plus, if I give you 1 bottle per month, that old bastard Stephen would make the same request too. I sold your wine for $1.5 million. He didn't do anything other than drink your wine. That also means that it'll be even more difficult to sell the wine in the future. This was true. If he sold the first bottle for $1.5 million, it meant that the future price couldn't be lower than this. Otherwise, it would be an insult to the first buyer. And it would be a feat if he could sell 2 bottles per year. Whatever. This was an unexpected fortune. It would be nice if he could make $2 or $3 million in a year. Why are you so happy? Feilai asked, walking over. Made money. Feilai chuckled. She knew that Chan Zhao had many sources of income. In addition to being an illegal doctor, he was also a trainer and now a wine seller. Chan Zhao pulled Feilai over and kissed heavily. Beep beep beep. Suddenly, a car appeared outside and honked endlessly. What asshole is honking outside our house? Chan Zhao crossed the front yard with a dark expression. Some people came out of the car. Chun Zhao took a look. Fuck you. Fuck you. Laurent, why are you here? Chun Zhao yelled. In addition to Laurent, Kane, Kareem and Howard had come too. Thankfully, he didn't see Winnip yet. What kind of attitude is that? I'm here to see my daughter, Laurent said indignantly. Chun Zhao turned toward Kane, Kareem and Howard. This asshole isn't willing to talk. So you three tell me why you're here. Chun Zhao had a murderous expression and the three shuddered. They wanted to cry. They didn't want to come at all, but Winnip insisted on them coming with Laurent. The person they least wanted to face was Chun Zhao. Nothing good ever happened when they saw Chun Zhao. More importantly, Laurent just liked to cause trouble. They would never be in peace when Laurent and Chun Zhao encountered each other. It would be alright if Laurent won once. The thing was, he'd never beaten Chun Zhao, but he insisted on getting himself in trouble every time. Chun, Kane said. Boss is out of the country these days, so Laurent came to L.A. Dad. Fei Lai came out just then. Seeing Laurent, she hurried over excitedly and hugged him. Fei Lai, this place is nice. Laurent looked around. He had to admit that Chun Zhao knew how to live nicely. He'd actually chosen this place for a house. At least it was much better than his house with Winnip. Do you like it? You can stay. Laurent, didn't you already book a hotel? Chun Zhao interrupted. Fei Lai, I already told him many times to stay, but he won't do it. He insists on staying at the hotel, saying that the four of them won't fit in our guest room. And I think that's true, right, Laurent? Yeah, Chun warmly welcomes me, but now I don't think it's convenient to stay at a hotel. As for Kane, Kareem and Howard, they can fit somehow. Oh, my basement is empty. Chun Zhao's eyes flashed. If they don't mind sleeping on the ground, they can stay in the basement. The underground environment is great. Kane, Kareem and Howard were about to cry. Laurent, it's not that far from the hotel. It's really convenient to go back and forth. Plus, Kareem isn't hygienic, so he came down with eczema. We don't want to get infected by sleeping with him. Kareem didn't talk. He would concede in order to not stay here. Eczema isn't contagious, Fei Lai said. Right, Chan? And eczema isn't about personal hygiene. Kareem can stay and have Chin take a look. Then you can stay. Chun Zhao had a helpless tone. Laurent smiled as if his evil plan had worked and strolled into the house. What a nice place. Laurent reached the living room. Wow, Raymond, you're this big now. He wasn't afraid of Raymond anymore and picked the snake up. Raymond was now at least 3 kilograms and more than 2 meters long. As for a snake that wasn't a python, that was pretty big. However, they were more shocked by Obito's size. With his thin tail, he was close to 5 meters long and completely unlike the lizards that they knew. Chun Zhao went to the kitchen. Right now, Fei Lai was making tea for them. Fei Lai, your dad doesn't seem to be eating healthily these days. Don't let him drink wine. Oh, got it. Fei Lai didn't overthink it. She always trusted Chun Zhao's diagnoses. Smiling warmly, Chun Zhao brought out a bottle of purple brew. Wow. So sweet. Having a nose as sharp as a dog's, Laurent practically started floating. He quickly began crying. Winnip, I miss you so much. I remember that woman from town. I promised her to get out of the fire together. I miss my grandma. Laurent, Kareem, Kane, what's wrong? Howard was the only one with no heart. He didn't know why they were crying. I'm okay. I'm just thinking of the past. Fei Lai, what's that smell? It's so fragrant. Oh, that's the wine that Chin brewed. Give me some. I'll have a taste of his wine. Dad, you can't drink it, Fei Lai said. Why? Laurent was instantly upset. Chun says that you have an alcoholic liver. You're not allowed to drink. Have Chun give you some treatment. I don't have an alcoholic liver, Laurent refuted. Your mom never lets me drink. He also knew that Chun Zhao did this on purpose. Chun Zhao took out the wine to tease him but wouldn't let him touch it. Even so, Fei Lai still chose to believe Chun Zhao. Laurent was about to go crazy. The smell was too alluring. Kane, Kareem, Howard, have a glass. Chun Zhao purposely gave the wine to the three but ignored Laurent. What about me? Laurent, you should drink less, so you don't have trouble getting hard. Fuck you. I don't have any trouble. Chapter 584. Clash in the parking lot. A few assholes were living here now. Chen Zhao and Fei Lai's two-person world was completely gone. Chen Zhao was annoyed. Laurent was just whatever. After all, he was Fei Lai's father. No, they must be driven away. They couldn't be allowed to destroy his two-person world with Fei Lai. Laurent, do you want to go in the water? Mirror Lake is really soothing. No, Laurent refused directly. Just as he'd always been trying to trick Chen Zhao obviously wanted to trick him too. Who knew if the water was safe or not? Dad, Mirror Lake is really safe. Aman is in there too. Liar. I'm a college graduate at least. Do you think I'm that stupid? How can a whale live in fresh water? Laurent, look over there. Laurent was speechless. He indeed saw a huge black shadow on the distant lake surface. Wasn't that Aman? Dad, don't you know that killer whales can actually live in freshwater? Okay, so reality 1. It could indeed survive in freshwater. What could Laurent say? In order to welcome Laurent and the others, Fei Lai suggested a barbecue party. After everyone busied around, the pets gathered around too. It wasn't their first time interacting with the pets. Other than Simba and Nana, all the others were quite familiar. Chen Zhao looked around and then dragged Cain to the side. Cain, when is that old bastard getting out of here? Chen, I don't know. Cain looked helplessly at Chen Zhao. He wanted to run away too. It wasn't like he wanted to live under the same roof as Chen Zhao. I'll book a hotel for you 3 tomorrow, Chen Zhao said. You 3 go live there. Okay. Cain felt freed. He completely agreed with Chen Zhao's suggestion. And if that bastard has anything planned for me, make sure to let me know. Got it. If you 3 dare to get involved, our grapevines need some more fertilizer. Cain paled. Chen Zhao might not actually turn them into fertilizer, but he would definitely bury them. What are you 2 muttering about? The meat is almost burnt. I haven't seen Cain in forever. I missed him. It's only been 2 months. Since when were you 2 this close? Laurent rolled his eyes at Chen Zhao. Cain hasn't healed completely. I'm asking about his injuries. Anyway, Chen Zhao and Laurent never agreed with each other and kept bickering. After the barbecue, Fei Lai was busy with cleaning up. Chen Zhao led the 4 on a tour of the basement. Fiske. This is too much. Laurent sounded sour. The outer wall was entirely a curved piece of glass. It was probably very expensive. Chen Zhao didn't reply because it was true. Of the entire mansion, this glass wall was probably the most expensive. What's with this skeleton? What animal is this? Cain had a blank expression too. Is this some prehistoric skeleton that you dug out of somewhere? Idiots, Chen Zhao said, rolling his eyes. It's a model. To be honest, Chen Zhao was anticipating what Laurent could plan this time. And then he'd have a reason to fight back. Chen, are you familiar with hip problems? It was rare for Laurent to ask a serious question. Chen Zhao looked at him with confusion. You hurt your hip? Have you been doing that too much? Shut up. I'm doing great and I'm not hurt. It's my friend. I can't say anything before seeing the patient. Can you go to the hospital with me tomorrow? Laurent sounded like he was pleading. It was rare for Laurent to ask Chen Zhao of something, so he thought for a bit and agreed. You didn't set up some trap in the hospital for me to jump into, right? Fuck off. I'm not that bored. As if I'll believe that. With Laurent here, Chen Zhao couldn't sleep at night. He wouldn't be able to sleep peacefully as long as this old bastard was here. The next day when Fei Lai went to work, she told Chen Zhao to take care of Laurent. Take care of Laurent. Did that old thing need to be taken care of? After breakfast, Chen Zhao, Laurent, and the 3 bodyguards went straight to the hospital. Which hospital? The one that 4's in. Chantilly. Yeah, and I can go see 4 too. When they reached Chantilly, 4 was already waiting at the door. My lovely daughter. Laurent went up to hug 4. Did you miss Daddy? No, 4 replied monotonously. For wouldn't play along with Laurent like Fei Lai. She said whatever she wanted to say and didn't care about Laurent's ego. I came all the way to the hospital to see you. You hurt me. Stop acting in front of me. I'm not Fei Lai. For looked annoyed. Okay. Can you take me to see my friend? You all go in first, Chanzhao said. I need to park the car. After parking it in the lot, he got out of the car and was hit in the shoulder. But the tall and thin guy who hit Chanzhao didn't apologize. He walked forward without even looking at Chanzhao. Chanzhao frowned, but this wasn't strange. There were impolite people anywhere. Just then the man seemed to realize he forgot something. He patted himself and then came back. He bumped into Chanzhao again. This time Chanzhao didn't go easy on him. When the tall and thin guy hit Chanzhao, it was like running into a wall. Ah! He fell to the ground. Chanzhao loomed over and shot him a glance. Then he walked around, lips curled. Hey, stop. The guy stood up and ran over to grab Chanzhao's shoulder. Shouldn't you apologize if you hit someone? You hit me. I didn't hit you. You looking for a fight? Chanzhao glanced at him with eyes filled with scorn. To be honest, even his past self could pummel this guy to death, let alone in his superhuman state now. Can you beat me? Chanzhao reached out and jabbed the guy's chest. The guy stumbled back. Fuck you. The guy raised his fist and came punching at Chanzhao. Chanzhao grabbed his hand and started twisting slowly. Ah, pain. Let go, you're gonna break my arm. Chanzhao finally let go of the guy. But when he turned around, the guy suddenly kicked Chanzhao from behind. Even with his back to him, Chanzhao still knew what he was doing. He moved to the side while turning and punching. Ah! Blood started spurting out of the guy's nose. Chapter 585 Speak Softly. What are you doing? Just then a few people came over. Marin, what happened? That fucker hit me. He hit me. The tall and skinny guy named Marin cried out, pointing at Chanzhao. His nose was still spewing blood. Chanzhao glanced at the men. They were wearing regular clothes. They probably weren't doctors or workers here. The leader was in his early 30s and had his hands stuffed in his pockets. He was dressed nicely and had a light smile on his face. Some of the men behind him were burly while the others looked scholarly. Chanzhao couldn't figure out their backgrounds. However, he didn't back down either. As long as they didn't have guns, he wasn't afraid of going up against them. He deserved a beating, Chanzhao said indifferently. The leader laughed out loud. Yes, that asshole deserves a beating. I guess he caused trouble for you, sorry. Chanzhao was a bit surprised. This guy was easier to talk to than expected. Hi. I'm the CEO of Sven Arts Company, Quincy Slanch. Hi. Chanzhao shook hands with Quincy. You can call me Chun. His hands were strong but a bit rough. Could someone with those hands be the boss of an arts company? Quincy walked over to Marin and kicked him. Get up. Stop embarrassing me, you asshole. I didn't tell you to come so you could cause trouble. I still have other things, so I'll take my leave, Chanzhao said. Goodbye. Quincy was still polite as he watched Chanzhao's back. Boss, why didn't you let me teach that guy a lesson? Marin asked unhappily. Crack. Quincy turned with a backhanded slap. Marin was sent flying. Quincy smoothed his clothes. When can you act properly? We have to keep a low profile instead of causing trouble wherever we go. Marin was hit and didn't dare to make another sound. He followed obediently behind Quincy. Oh, you're so slow with whatever you do, Laurent complained. Parking a car takes as long as a surgery. If you keep talking, I'll send you to the surgery room. For look at this bastard. Do you think Fei Lai would be bullied by him? Laurent instantly went to Four to complain. For already knew that Chanzhao and Laurent didn't have a smooth relationship. She didn't feel like talking to them and rolled her eyes at Laurent. It's none of your business. Can you stop Fei Lai if she wants to be with Chen? Stop causing trouble. You're all bullying me. Laurent's face was filled with anger. Okay. Which room is your friend in? For was getting impatient. Zone B, room 450. Fourth floor, take a left after the elevator. Fifth room, For said. I still have other work. Go over by yourself. With that, For left with her hands in her pockets. Your own fault, Chen Zhao said gleefully. Laurent looked at For's back with an unhappy expression. They found room 450 in Zone B. Laurent pushed the door open and went in. This was a shared room with 6 patients. Ha! A sand! Laurent was super loud and just started calling out to his friend. Chen Zhao saw a bald guy in one of the beds. He looked a bit familiar for some reason. Where did Chen Zhao see him before? The bald guy looked at Laurent and also started yelling, "Speak softly. This is a hospital room." Chen Zhao was speechless. People really did turn into their friends. Where's your big beard? Haha. Laurent went to the bed and started laughing at the bald guy's clean face. He even annoyingly went to touch Asan's chin. Asan lost his temper and tried to hit Laurent, but he couldn't get up. He glanced at the people behind Laurent. Finally, his eyes landed on Chen Zhao. Ah, it's you. You know me? Chen Zhao thought they indeed had met before. It's you. It's because of you that I got run over. If not for you, I wouldn't be laying here. I don't remember running someone over. He would believe it if the guy said he was sent to the hospital by getting beat up. Oh. But it was bullshit to say that Chen Zhao had run him over. Chen Zhao drove slowly and followed all the rules. Did you forget? It was outside Beverly Hills. I was riding a motorbike and you drove an SUV. I kicked your door. Everyone looked at Chen Zhao. This was like suicide. With Chen Zhao's temper, running the guy over was normal. Oh, I remember. You're the rider. Finally made sense to Chen Zhao. That's not my fault. Plus, I'm the one who called the ambulance for you. But Asan had a big beard before. Now that he'd shaved his beard, he was just a fat old man. That was why Chen Zhao couldn't recognize him. It's your fault, but I don't blame you. I don't need your forgiveness. Chen Zhao's expression darkened. This had nothing to do with him. That asshole had gotten hit after running a red light. And the person responsible had run away. Asan, he's a doctor. He's here to help you. Kid, you can help me stand up again? I've been laying in bed for almost 2 months. I think I'm rotting away. Wait. Chen Zhao picked up the records hanging on the side of the bed. He'd cracked his pelvis and had many serious injuries all over. The cracked pelvis was the main thing. Usually, this kind of injury could heal with enough time. But Asan wasn't young anymore, so he healed very slowly. A young person would be able to move normally in around a month. But Asan had been laying there for 2 months, and he didn't have any obvious signs of recovery. Of course, this was also due to the severity of his injuries. With this rate of recovery, he'd probably have to lay around for half a year. For someone of his age, he would waste away in half a year. Without enough exercise, his body could weaken and his muscles could go through dystrophy. Laurent, are you paying for his clinic fee? Fuck, you want to take my money? You want me to tell Fei Lai? It doesn't matter if you tell her, Chen Zhao said matter-of-factly. I wouldn't take your money if you fall from the 2nd floor and disable your lower body. Laurent, who is he to you? My daughter's boyfriend. Oh, I remember. Chen Zhao suddenly said. He flirted with Fei Lai 4 months ago. Fuck Asan. You're bullying my daughter? You fucker. When did I flirt with Laurent's daughter? Remember that night we had a fight and went to the police station? One of the girls was Laurent's daughter, my girlfriend. I never flirted. You beat up my men. Oh. Chapter 586. Private property is inviolable. Chen Zhao vaguely remembered a biker gang harassing Fei Lai. And then they started fighting. But fighting in a bar was pretty normal. Instead, Chen Zhao remembered that he'd gotten beat up badly. Of course, they all got taken to the police station in the end. Chen Zhao didn't really care about it. Drinking some horse piss, losing your mind, and going to a pretty girl to ask for her number or treat her to a drink was an everyday thing at a bar. Who would get into a blood rivalry over something like this? Laurent tugged relentlessly on Hassan's patient uniform, insisting on him apologizing. Chen Zhao just stood to the side and watched the show. Kareem, Kane, and Howard were speechless. Chen Zhao was obviously just causing trouble. And Laurent was always soft for his daughter. When he heard this, his brain stopped working. You guys shut up. A nurse came over and stood in the doorway. Someone reported you guys for being too loud and disturbing the other patient. Those who reported them must be the patients in the same room. Laurent finally let go of Hassan. After the nurse left, another group soon came from outside. It was that Quincy and his underlings. When Hassan saw them, he instantly started yelling, "Get the fuck out! Stop bothering me!" But Quincy brought his men to the bed. "Mr. Hassan, we come with sincerity. If you're willing to compromise, we can pay you $100,000. Fuck off. You assholes made me lay here for 2 months. I'll have him rot in jail for 2 years. Reckless driving, a hit and run, and personal injury added together meant at least 2 years. The perpetrator also broke traffic rules, so he would take most of the responsibility. Old thing, don't go looking for trouble, Marin yelled, pointing at Hassan. You're lucky to get $100,000. Laurent frowned. Get the fuck out. You're disturbing my friend. You old. Just as Marin started talking, he was lifted from the ground. Chen Zhao grabbed him with both hands, lifting him high in the air. Quincy finally realized that Chen Zhao was here too. Sir, we meet again. Yeah. Chen Zhao smiled at him. As expected, they weren't good guys. Is Hassan your friend? It doesn't matter. I don't want him to be disturbed. If you know Mr. Hassan, why don't you help me persuade him? Quincy maintained a gentle smile, but Chen Zhao felt like he was a toxic snake. His smile didn't make Chen Zhao feel any warmth. Instead, Chen Zhao was subconsciously guarded against him. What he decides is his right, Chen Zhao said. I don't think any outsider has the right to force him to do anything. All right, Hassan. I still hope you can think about it. $100,000 isn't a small sum after all. Fuck off, assholes. Hassan's reply was as straightforward as always. He also had rich body language like his middle finger. Quincy left with his men, shooting a glance at Chen Zhao before leaving. Who are they? Laurent asked. I don't know, Hassan said. But they're on the same side as the guy who ran into me. They came 4 or 5 times and keep hoping that I'll drop the lawsuit. They don't look like a gang, Laurent said. They're not good people, Hassan said. Whatever, let's stop caring about them. Chen, give Hassan a checkup. We decided that you'll pay for the clinic, right? Okay. I don't know what Feili sees in you, Laurent complained. Hassan's condition is actually stabilized and doesn't need any special treatment. He only needs to lay in bed for around 2 months and he can walk again. No, Hassan cried out. I don't want to lay around for 2 more months. I don't even want to stay for 2 more days. Chen, can you make him walk faster? Yes. It depends on how much you're willing to pay. What if it's $100? Laurent asked shamelessly. I can make him stay bedridden for life. Chen Zhao rolled his eyes. Fine, what about $1,000? He paid the hospital more than $1,000, right? I don't know how much I paid because I have insurance. Anyway, I already got $300,000 from this accident. No wonder Quincy offered $100,000 in compensation. Then $10,000, Laurent said. That's all I have. I can have him walk again within 2 weeks. Can it be faster? Hassan asked. Then add more money. No, Hassan refused immediately. Chen Zhao thought that he didn't care about money, but he was a stingy guy too. Just then, Kane suddenly patted Chen Zhao's shoulder. What? Chen, is that your car? Kane pointed outside the window. They could see the parking lot from here. Chen Zhao saw that Quincy's men were destroying his car at the moment. Furious, Chen Zhao jumped out of the window. Chen, what are you doing? Chen Zhao jumped straight out. Everyone in the room was floored. This was the 4th level. He'd probably disable himself by jumping down. Kane rushed to the window and saw that Chen Zhao had landed safely. Chen Zhao was completely furious. He charged at the parking lot like a wild bull. "Those guys are dead," Laurent said. Kane, Kareem, and Howard had the same expression. Those guys were practically committing suicide. They didn't know that they'd angered a lion. Right now, Quincy stood to the side, still with his gentle smile. He watched his men smash Chen Zhao's car. Marin was working the hardest. But then Quincy felt a gust of wind and then a figure rushed into the group of people. Thud! Marin's frail body shot into the air and flew meters away. He smashed into the windshield of a car in the back, embedding into it entirely. Everyone looked at Chen Zhao. There was a murderous look in his eyes. "Quincy, you better give me an explanation. Mr. Chen, do you know how long you'll be sentenced for intentional harm?" Quincy still had that gentle smile. Then, "Do you know that there's a law in America that states that private property is inviolable and killing is allowed?" A murderous intent flashed in Chen Zhao's eyes. A gun was pointed at the back of his head. Quincy's expression still didn't change. He smiled at Chen Zhao. "If you die, then we'll be able to tell the judge that it was self-defense." Chapter 587, Anime Organization DK. Bang! Chen Zhao moved his head instantly. Even with his back to the shooter, he could still accurately determine the instant the trigger was pulled. He also swept backward, kicking the shooter's neck. The man fell to the ground with a twisted neck, dead. Chen Zhao never even looked back at him. However, these people's violence was quite unexpected. They actually dared to take out their guns in broad daylight and even fire. Chen Zhao had thought that they would only threaten him. He'd never thought about actually killing someone. He just wanted to teach them a lesson. But now he was completely furious. Chen Zhao stared coldly at Quincy. "You know what happens to people who point a gun at my head?" Quincy's pupils constricted. This Asian was dangerous. "Mr. Chen, how about you just let this go now? You killed one of my men." "No." Chen Zhao saw another guy stab at him with a dagger. He turned, pulled, and grabbed. The man's neck was in Chen Zhao's hands. Quincy's expression changed. "Don't." Crack. Quincy looked at the body on the ground. His expression was furious. Chen Zhao realized that Quincy had a different attitude toward his subordinates. His reaction had been normal when Chen Zhao had killed the shooter. But after the second died, he became furious. "You bitch, I'm going to kill you." Quincy finally lost his earlier composure. Chen Zhao had already charged at Quincy. The man raised his arm to stop Chen Zhao's attack. But the next moment, Chen Zhao's fist had snapped both of Quincy's arms. He yelled out in pain. He didn't think Chen Zhao would be so strong. Chen Zhao kicked again and Quincy slammed into the car behind him. The car door was entirely distorted. By now the remaining four turned to run. They weren't good at fighting, but they were quite skilled at running. As if they'd discussed this earlier, they instantly split into different directions. They took twists and turns in the parking lot, disappearing in seconds. Chen Zhao looked at Quincy. He wasn't dead yet, but he was very badly hurt. Blood foamed at his mouth and his arms hung limply before him. "Do you still think you can kill me?" But then Quincy smiled gently. He looked at Chen Zhao without talking. Of course he couldn't talk at all now. The police came as well as the doctors. There were 2 dead and 2 injured. The tall and thin Marin actually survived. This surprised Chen Zhao. There were security cameras in the park and many witnesses, so it wasn't hard to get things clear. Whether it was because his car got smashed or someone held a gun to Chen Zhao's head, it was reasonable for him to fight back. "Fuck, that guy is so strong." Ignoring his pain, Asand leaned against the window to watch. "Thank God I didn't fight him one-on-one before." "You wanted to fight him?" "Whatever, let's not talk about this," Asand denied. What a joke. If he mentioned that Chen Zhao had wanted to fight him one-on-one before the car accident, Chen Zhao might want a friendly match again. As for Kane, Kareem, and Howard, they'd been sent to the ground by Chen Zhao the first time they met. They didn't want to think about those memories either. After getting questioned, Chen Zhao returned to the hospital room. Hey, what are you guys talking about? I'm hungry. Me too. Same. I need 3-4 drops this noon. Chen Zhao looked around. Why are you guys like this? It was self-defense. Okay, he was indeed losing control of his emotions these days. From now on, he would meditate and calm down. At the door, Chen Zhao said, Laurent, those aren't nice people. You should take a sand out of the hospital. That's right. Your place is good. I'll bring him to stay with you. You want to bring danger to Fei Lai. Just say it if you don't want me to live with you. I don't want you to live with me. You asshole. You told me to say it. Chen Zhao looked up at Laurent. It was already annoying that Laurent disrupted their two-person world. But since he was Fei Lai's father, Chen Zhao could manage. He planned on sending Karim, Kane and Howard to the hotel today. But instead of them leaving, another stranger was coming and Chen Zhao wasn't exactly willing. Plus, Asan should have his own home too. You said he's in danger. You should be sympathetic. I'd be happy to have him stay at my house if he's a little girl, but he's not. Aren't you afraid of me telling Fei Lai? And letting her see how you truly are? I'd tell her that you made it up. I'll find a house myself. Laurent glared at Chen Zhao. How long are you going to stay in Ella? For? It depends on how long Winnip will be out of the country for. Even though Laurent always threatened to show Fei Lai his true nature, they always acted friendly before Fei Lai. Just as they were talking at the door, a group of police officers walked over. They're here for you, Laurent said gleefully. They're going to arrest you. These officers all look serious. They dressed differently from the Ella police that Chen Zhao usually saw. The leader wore regular clothes. The others had different uniforms and weapons. A couple of the officers in the back held silenced submachines. Hello, I am Thomas Riffer, in charge of the local Interpol branch. Are you Mr. Chen? Yes, I am. Then the leading police took Chen Zhao's hand. Thank you for your contributions. You helped us catch Viper Quincy. Viper Quincy? The one you handicapped. Who are they? Chen Zhao asked. A-class criminals wanted internationally. Viper Quincy is the second leader of the international crime organization Death Knight. They committed crimes in many countries and more than 100 innocent people have died in their hands. Wait, are you sure that their name is the Death Knight? Yes, is there a problem? Are you sure they're a crime organization and not some anime club? You're not here to arrest this guy? Laurent was disappointed. Thomas looked at Laurent and then at Chen Zhao. And he is. Ignore him, Chen Zhao said, rolling his eyes. He's crazy. We wanted to ask how you got involved with him. Chen Zhao described everything. Thomas arched an eyebrow. Go check the identity of the perpetrator. See if he has a fake ID. Do you know why they're here? Chen Zhao asked. There are some special members in DK. They're top experts in some field and have irreplaceable positions, so they would usually try their best to protect them. Chen Zhao thought of the two that he'd killed. Viper Quincy didn't even react when he killed the first. But when he killed the second, Quincy had been furious. Chapter 588. Interpol. Mr. Chen, we suspect that DK has something big planned in LA. We hope that you can cooperate with us to destroy DK's plan and capture their leader. How should I cooperate with you? Chen Zhao asked. This time you made DK suffer great losses. They often take revenge, so they'll definitely take revenge on you. We hope that we can surround your home and control it entirely. Sorry, no, Chen Zhao refused directly. Why? Don't you want the Interpol to protect you and your family's safety? Does the Interpol have really pretty personal bodyguards for me and my girlfriend? If not, then no thanks. I don't accept any kind of protection. Also, please don't get close to my house or the surrounding area. I have the right to expel you. This was a prime example of conversation killers. Mr. Chen, they're a crime organization, not the typical gang. I know you're a good boxer, but sometimes a bullet will take your life. Bai Chunjiao said, rolling his eyes. Mr. Chun, you'll come find me by yourself, Thomas Riffer said. Oh. Asand was a standard vagrant. He didn't have a home at all. He didn't have family either, so he just slept wherever he rode his motorcycle to. Usually he stayed in a restaurant or bar. Occasionally, he would spend the night in a motel. After Laurent brought Asand out, he chattered nonstop about how merciless Chunjiao was. Laurent, shut up. Asand yelled loudly too. You're so annoying. Fuck you. You're already disabled and your temper is still so bad. Yeah, this is my temper. You got a problem? Kane sat in the back right between them. His head was about to explode from these two loud guys. Kareem and Howard sat in the front and they were better off, but they were still annoyed. But they didn't have Chunjiao's guts to yell back whenever they were annoyed. Laurent brought Asand into the hotel. Asand, spend a few days here. How much is one night? $400. Why? You want to pay me? No. Give me the $400. It's the same if I spend the night at a bar. Fuck you. Oh. A policewoman walked into Thomas's office with some files. Thomas, we checked. The person who was arrested is from DK. His alias is Engineer, a Class A internationally wanted criminal. He's caused many accidents before. Most of the deaths from DK were caused by him. He used a fake ID with the name Pharaoh Kirk. He works at an electricity company as a repairman. Thomas looked at the files for a long while. Does DK want something from the electricity company? I wouldn't know. Go to the local police station and take the engineer out. I want to interrogate him personally. Sir, many people from DK has been showing up in Ella in the past 3 months. I'm afraid they'll have action here. That's what I'm worried about too, Thomas said. But we don't even know what their goal is. I'm hoping to get some information from the engineer. Maybe we can try something on that Chinese guy, the policewoman said. What? It's not like we can break into his private property, Thomas said helplessly. Even though they were the Interpol and had powerful rights, they still had to follow each nation's laws. If they really broke into someone's property and got shot, they wouldn't even have the right to fight back. Thomas rubbed his forehead. Whatever. Get the engineer out first and add more people to the hospital. Make sure the Viper, Quincy and Thief won't get broken out. Just then, another subordinate ran in. Thomas, Viper and Thief disappeared. One of the doctors died. What? Thomas shot to his feet in disbelief. How did they escape? I don't know. The hospital's security footage was all erased. We can't find any clues or how they even started it. Hurry. Send more people to extract the engineer. Oh. Hello, we're from Interpol. We need to extract someone imprisoned here. David looked up and saw a beautiful girl. He looked back and saw more people, all wearing Interpol uniforms. He accepted the ID and made another call to check that nothing was wrong with the ID number. Who do you need to extract? Pharaoh Kirk. Who is he? Confidential. I can't tell you. David couldn't do anything. His police system was under the American FBI and wasn't directly related to Interpol. But Interpol had the right to take prisoners from them. David brought Interpol to the cells. This is Pharaoh Kirk. Pharaoh raised his head and shock flashed past his face. When David saw him, he furrowed his brows. Pharaoh's expression wasn't obvious, but he seemed happy. Please open the door. David glanced at the people behind the woman. Can I see everyone else's IDs too? Of course. A big guy came forward. The next moment he pulled a gun out of his pocket. David cried out inside and tried to jump to the side. But when he was in the air, the man fired. Pew pew. David took several bullets instantly and fell into a pool of blood. These people started firing directly and destroyed the electric lock. We should go. The woman looked up at the security camera. Since they destroyed the lock, the police would definitely know. Just then, the outer wall of the detention center exploded. A man stood outside. He had a mohawk and was chewing gum. Brothers miss me. Shut up and hurry, the big guy said. Or else we'll have a shootout in a police station. When the woman walked past David, She paused and said gently, "Mr. Officer, you're my type." With that, the woman gave David another bullet. Real life wasn't like movies. In movies, the main characters wouldn't get shot even if bullets rained down on them. But reality wasn't like that. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.